Chapter 81. Shi Yu uses the power of Changpan to sense the feelings of the majestic tooth. He wants to read its memory. However, memory is actually damaged. Xiangvia lives on a rocky mountain. The rocky mountain is very old, that area doesn't look like the modern one. Until one day, a strange energy attracted them. Then, Xiangvia lost his memory. When he reappeared, he was in a deep cave with a lot of crystals. But one day, Xiangvia lost his memory again, and when he reappeared, he was actually on this rocky mountain. After reading this, Shi Yu was a little confused. This majestic tooth, according to its intermittent fragmentary memory, should be from ancient times, but the strange thing is, how could it appear on this rocky mountain? Shi Yu was puzzled. Are the two wise men of Padilla really the ones who invented the time machine? And the cave, are those crystals really from Area Zero? Shi Yu felt something was different again. After thinking for a moment, Shi Yu shook his head and said, "Forget it, it has nothing to do with me. What ancient Pokémon? What crystal cave? This is something the Alliance should pay attention to. I'm just a rancher." Thinking of this, Shi Yu looked at the majestic Fang in front of him with full energy. He asked, "Majestic Fang, are you willing to join my ranch?" At this time, the majestic Fang had already woken up, but due to his weak physical strength, he was temporarily unable to move. Wow! Xiangvia seemed a little puzzled. Shi Yu smiled and said seriously, "My ranch is recruiting employees. A strong guy like you should be very good at rock excavation. I need you to help me dig the ore in the rock mountain. If you agree, you can still live on this rock mountain. Only, Shi Yu looked at Boscodora standing beside him. He continued, "This area will be returned to the Boscodora clan. I will forgive the past." Originally, Shi Yu wanted to teach this majestic Fang a lesson. After all, from the perspective of the Boscodora clan, this majestic Fang was an invader. But, the rock mountain is originally wild, and those who are capable can get it. Boscodora is stronger than the Pokémons of other races, so it occupies the depths of the rock mountain. Majestic Fang is stronger than them, so it occupies the depths of the rock mountain. In the wild Pokémon world, this is actually the law of nature. Shi Yu felt that there was no need to condemn it. What's more, this majestic Fang is not as murderous as the rogue crocodile. Those defeated Boscodora are still alive. In addition, it was not Xiangguia's original intention to come to this rock mountain. On the contrary, it seems that Shi Yu has no pattern. Wow! Xiangvia seemed to be lost in thought and began to think. Shi Yu ignored it for the time being. He came to Boscodora's side. "Do you agree with my way of handling this matter?" Coco. Shi Yu still needs to know Boscodora's thoughts. "Hey cool, Boscodora." Thought about it, and then nodded. It followed Shi Yu's opinion. Although Boscodora hated this majestic Fang, but if it could reoccupy the deep part of the rock mountain and let the majestic Fang become a working Pokémon, it would be willing. Boscodora is an optimistic social Pokémon. He has no bad intentions and will not kill all the enemies. What's more, he just beat up the majestic Fang. In Boscodora's view, it was a draw. When Shi Yu heard Boscodora's answer, a satisfied smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. As expected of the Pokémons he cultivated, the pattern is big. Go save your kind, Coco. Although it has evolved into Boscodorus, Shi Yu still likes to call it Coco. Hey, cool. Boscodora nodded, looked at the rest of his tribe, and ran towards the place where the Boscodora tribe was imprisoned. Shi Yu glanced at Xiangguia and said seriously, "The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. I think as a Pokémon from ancient times, you should understand this truth better, right?" Wow! Xiangvia nodded, indicating that he understood. Since he was defeated and was subdued by the human in front of him, then from now on, he will naturally be dominated by the human in front of him. Boscodora rescued the imprisoned Boscodora. There were 3 male Boscodora, 6 male Codolas, and 13 male Cocodoras. In addition to the original dozen or so Codolas and Cocodoras, the entire Boscodora tribe was present, not a single one was missing. Hey cool! The leading Boscodora roared, as if to vent his emotions. Then, he came to Shi Yu. Through the description of the female Boscodora who was not imprisoned, the imprisoned Pokémons all knew that it was Shi Yu who saved their tribe. For a moment, the leader Boscodora didn't even have time to talk to his children, that is, Shi Yu's Boscodora came to Shi Yu to reminisce about the past. He shouted out his gratitude to Shi Yu. Boscodora, you don't need to thank me specially. If you want to thank someone, thank your child. Shi Yu smiled, and he already knew that this leader Boscodora was the father of his Boscodora. Hey cool! The leader Boscodora turned to look at Shi Yu's Coco. His eyes were deep and solemn. After a while, he finally seemed to have made a decision. He shouted loudly. Hey cool! Hey cool! For a moment, all the Boscodora tribe members present were in a state of hesitation. After a moment, they shouted in unison, as if they agreed with the decision of their leader Boscodora. Shi Yu roughly understood the conversation of their tribe through the induction of Changpan's power. The leader Boscodora saw Coco's growth and recognized its strength. It felt very proud and wanted to abdicate the position of the tribe leader to Coco. So that's what happened. Shi Yu smiled and walked to Keek, congratulating him. Keek, now you are the real overlord of Yunshan. Thinking of the task he had assigned to Keek, to make him the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Yunshan branch, Shi Yu smiled happily. This guy completed the task very well. Hey, cool. Keek was still a little confused, but after getting Shi Yu's affirmation, his eyes became firm. Hey cool. Coco nodded and responded loudly to the Boscodora clan, as if to express her determination. Great. This way, the rock mountain is completely conquered. From now on, the ore on the rock mountain can be mined as much as you want to make money for the ranch. Chapter 82. The Boscodora tribe, excluding Coco from Shi Yu's ranch. There are a total of 5 Boscodoras, 10 Codoras, and 19 Codoras. With this lineup, it's no wonder that they have been able to dominate the depths of the entire rock mountain for so long. After Coco's narration, all the Boscodora tribe members agreed to be subdued by Shi Yu. Now, another mission can be completed. Shi Yu said with a smile. As for the mission reward, Shi Yu plans to settle it after returning to the ranch. For now, Shi Yu has other things to deal with. Chief Crow, I am very grateful that you saved me, I said, since you left Yunshan, don't come back. Since you came back, you must have your own ideas, right? Do-ah. The crow stared at Shi Yu and flapped its wings. It seemed to be thinking about something. After a moment, its eyes became firm. Beeb. 220 you mean, you also want to join our ranch, right? Duao. The crow leader nodded. Shi Yu smiled and said, okay, welcome to join us. Crow chief. After that, Shi Yu took out all the Pokeballs that contained Murkrows and released all the Murkrows that he had captured before. Ami. There were a total of 25 Murkrows. These Murkrows flapped their wings and flew in the air as if they had regained their freedom. Chief Crow, from now on, you will still be the leader of this group of dark crows. My mission for you is to patrol the Rocky Mountains and the pasture area. If there is any abnormality, come and report to me. As for how to arrange the Murkrows in your tribe, it is up to you to decide. But what I want is that there are Murkrows patrolling 24 hours a day. Shi Yu glanced outside the mountain and said with a smile, the valley where you live has been destroyed, so come and live in the Pokemon hut in my ranch. Duao. The crow leader nodded, indicating that he would complete his mission. It was the Mount Goat. Shi Yu turned to look at the Mount Goat on the rock. It had been watching the battle since it came here. It almost rushed out several times. Especially when Shi Yu was in danger. The Mount Goat actually rushed out, but when it saw that the crow leader had saved Shi Yu, it ran back. The main reason was that it was a little afraid of Xianguia, which made it dare not come over. Mount Goat, it's time to come over. Me. The Mount Goat nodded, and then it landed on all fours and quickly ran to Shi Yu's side. Seeing the crow leader in a group of dark crows, the Mount Goat's expression was a little complicated. At this time, the crow leader actually took the initiative to fly in front of the Mount Goat. The Mount Goat took a few steps back with some caution. Unexpectedly, the crow leader actually lowered his proud head and apologized to the Mount Goat. Duao. When the Mount Goat felt the apology from the crow leader, it was still a little bit unbelievable. Suddenly, all the dark crows behind it lowered their heads and apologized to the Mount Goat. At this time, the Mount Goat could not stand still. It looked at Shi Yu suddenly, as if hoping that Shi Yu would help it to say a few words. Mount Goat, I am aware of the conflict between your two tribes. Now, all the Crowhead tribe have surrendered to my ranch. According to the previous agreement, you should also bring your mounts and lambs to my ranch. However, considering that there are conflicts between your two races, it is better to resolve the conflicts between you first. The Crow Chief and the Merc Rose collectively apologize to you, can we resolve the past grudges? After hearing Shi Yu's words, the goat was silent for a long time, then nodded and said, Met. Good. In that case, let's go. Shi Yu smiled, in a very good mood. This trip to Yunshan was fruitful. Basically, all the tribes on Yunshan were subdued. The rest were scattered wild Pokémons, and it was much easier to subdue them. Shi Yu didn't even need to do anything. With Boscodora, the social Pokémon, basically they could be tamed. Keek, you should stay in Yunshan for a while. I believe you have a lot to say to your fellow tribesmen. Hey cool. Boscodora nodded. Then, Shi Yu added, remember, you are now the leader of Yunshan and the director of our ranch in Yunshan branch. Mineral development and peaceful coexistence of ethnic groups in Yunshan, I leave it all to you. Hey cool. Boscodora promised to complete the mission. Let's go, everyone. Shi Yu jumped over and landed on the back of his goat. He then said to the Metagross, Melodic, Giant Claw Mantis, and the Crow Chiefs behind him. Then, he walked down the mountain. Of course. Shi Yu temporarily put Xianguia back into the Pokeball. After that, Xianguia's main task must be to dig the rock mountain mine. But, Shi Yu planned to take it back first and train it thoroughly. This would prevent this guy from causing any trouble when he was not on the mountain, which would affect the income. After returning to the foot of the mountain, the Mount Goat told the Mount Lambs about everything that happened deep in the mountain, including the Crowhead clan, and apologized to them for reconciliation. Under the instructions of the Mount Goat, the Mount Lambs were also willing to join Shi Yu's ranch. Shi Yu threw the ball again and put all the Mount Lambs into the ball. There were a total of 16 Mount Lambs. I didn't expect that I would capture so many new Pokémons on this trip to Yunshan. Shi Yu made a preliminary estimate. He captured about 158 Pokémons on this trip. There were only about 40 Pokeballs left that Xiaohe bought. In addition to the Pokémons that the ranch already had, the total number of Pokémons on the ranch was 260. The scale of the ranch has really expanded. In addition to the area of the ranch itself, there is also a stream, a dozing forest, and a rocky mountain. Shi Yu thought about it. According to the current plan of the ranch, it can only extend northward. 2.8 The north is wasteland and mountains. If that side is also developed, the area of the ranch can be even larger. However, this is all later. After a busy day, Shi Yu was also tired. When he returned to the ranch, the sun had already set. Xiaohe was dealing with Wangwang Valley and saw Shi Yu coming back with a large group. He ran out with some excitement and surprise. Our brother. Shi Yu, what are these Pokémons? She looked at Shi Yu in surprise. It seemed that she couldn't believe it. After all, Shi Yu came back riding a goat with 16 lambs, plus the crow leader flying in the sky and 25 dark crows. These are all friends I met on the mountain. From now on, they will also be part of the ranch. Hearing Shi Yu's explanation, Xiao Yu opened her mouth in surprise. Chapter 83. Brother Shi Yu, are these all the new ranch companions you conquered in Yunshan? Xiaohe opened her mouth wide, her face full of disbelief. Is this true? In just one day, Brother Shi Yu conquered 2 tribes of Pokémons? Combined with yesterday, when Brother Shi Yu came out of the dozing forest, he also brought back 2 tribes, the K-Pokeball tribe and the 3 Bees tribe. Oh yeah, there are also the father and daughter of Circle Bear. In 2 days, Shi Yu was able to bring back so many Pokémons? No wonder this ranch has grown to this extent in just over a week. Brother Shi Yu is simply a god. Shi Yu saw Xiao Yu's face full of worship. He decided not to tell her about the events on the mountain. Otherwise, if she knew that I had completely conquered the rock mountain and subdued all the Pokémons on the rock mountain in one day, she would probably be shocked. Xiaohu, you are going back to school in Hulang Town later, right? Shi Yu asked. Yes, in fact, we have to go back at about this time, we have to catch the last bus. Xiaohu looked at the time, 23 is indeed late. If it is later, I am afraid I will miss the last bus. At that time, I can only get up super early tomorrow and take the first bus to the Pokémon School in Hulang Town. No need. Shi Yu waved his hand, then glanced at the group of little lambs behind him. He said to Xiao Yu, pick one, the one you like, and it will be your mount Pokémon from now on. Hey! Xiao was slightly stunned. She didn't expect that brother Shi Yu would actually give her a Pokémon? Or a lamb as a mount? Brother Shi Yu, are you serious? Of course. Shi Yu smiled and said, the main task of these lambs is to transport the ore from the mountain. Of course, they are also riding Pokémons, so it is only natural for me to give you one as a mount. Not to mention. Shi Yu did not continue speaking. What he wanted to say was, what's more, you are already a member of the ranch. Fearing that Xiao would blush again, he swallowed his words. Thank you, brother Shi Yu. Xiao said excitedly. Compared to the starting 3 Pokémon that the Pokémon School in Hulang Town will give her next week, Xiao seems to like the Pokémon that Shi Yu gave her more. Among this group of lambs, Xiao chose for a long time and finally chose a lamb that she liked very well as her starting Pokémon. Xiao, you don't need to take the bus anymore. With your mount, the lamb, it should take you less than half an hour to get from Hulang Town to Hulang Town. Yet. Xiao Yudian nodded. In that case, why don't you hurry up and make dinner? Be careful or I'll spank you. Xiao pouted and trotted back to the cabin after hearing Shi Yu's pretending serious words. She started to prepare dinner. Mount Goats, you will live in this area from now on. Shi Yu pointed to the haystack on the west side of the Pokémon hut, and said to the iron worker, your job is here. Build a residence for the Mount Goats tomorrow. Mast. The iron worker nodded, indicating that he understood. However, compared to the residence here, the Mount Goats are more suitable to live in the botanical garden along the sleeping forest. However, Shi Yu has not yet built the botanical garden, so he has to let them live here temporarily. As for the Pokémon hut, it doesn't matter if it is built and kept. Anyway, there will be new Pokémons in the future who will join the ranch. Chief Crow, Dark Crows, you can live here. Shi Yu pointed at the orchard. These guys usually like to live in trees, and the orchard is indeed a good place for them to live. Dua. Ami. The Crow leader and the Dark Crows all liked this new residence very much. It was obvious. Following Shi Yu to the ranch was indeed the right choice. Oh, by the way, Chief Crow, I know you all love to eat rolling beans, but, the rolling beans on the ranch are all grown for sale. You can no longer eat them whenever you want like you do in the wild. I will prepare enough rolling beans for you to eat, but you are forbidden to pick them privately. The same applies to the fruits on the trees. We have a strict division of labor in our ranch. Shi Yu had to say the ugly words in advance to avoid the Pokémons in the ranch quarreling with each other later. When there are too many Pokémons, the most difficult thing is to coexist peacefully. Conflicts will arise no matter which group they are in. As the ranch owner, Shi Yu must be a good peacemaker. Otherwise, it will be detrimental to the long-term development of the ranch. Dueo. The Crow leader nodded, indicating that he would take good care of his own tribe. That's good, Chief Crow, I have great faith in your ability to govern. Shi Yu said solemnly. At the same time, he came to the fields on the north side. After the efforts of the dragon-head gopher and the digging rabbit for many days, the fields here were almost cultivated. To the north, there were some harder lands with some rocks. It was a little inconvenient to cultivate. Shi Yu took out a luxurious ball. Come out, majestic tooth. Wow! Xiangvia, for now, your task is to reclaim the fields here, and use your digging holes to reclaim them. Shi Yu ordered. Wow! When Xiangwei was deep in the Rocky Mountains, he didn't have to do any work at all. 397 food, Jian ore, would be sent up naturally. Who would have thought that he would have to mine the fields now? However, Xiangwei nodded, hit the ground head first and started his mining work. Obviously, Xiangwei is a Pokémon who knows the times and can bend and stretch. When Xiangwei's entire head was in, Shi Yu couldn't help but frowned, feeling something was wrong. Wait! Shi Yu shouted. Xiangvia quickly popped his head out and looked at Shi Yu, as if asking Shi Yu, what's wrong? Forget it. I originally hoped that you would cultivate land here, it seems that I can only let you go to the Rocky Mountains in the north. Shi Yu covered his head with his hands. He thought, why didn't I think of this problem before? The size of the Xiangwia is really too big. Once the hole is dug, a huge pit appears. How can I plant the new field? Dragon-headed gopher and digging rabbit, it seems that you still have to chew the hard bones over there. Bai Qian, said the dragon-headed hamster, leaving it to him, can you please let this big guy move aside? Xianguia, go to the rocky mountain over there and help me collect stones. The ranch does need stones to build some things. Usually, these jobs are done by the iron workers alone. Now, Xianguia can help. Chapter 84. At Shi Yu's command, the big Xiangwei left the field and walked to the rocky mountain in the north, where he began to hit the rocky mountain to mine the rocks. When the iron bone worker saw Xiangwei knocking the rocks apart so easily, he hurried over to collect the rocks and prepared to carry them back to the Pokémon's hut to build a new hut. In addition to the wooden hut, Shi Yu also asked it to help build some rock huts, or terraces, etc. The entrance to the entire ranch also needs something similar to a door and a fence. It's not that the ranch should be sealed up. It's that Shi Yu feels that it's not safe to be open to the sky, even if there are 3 werewolves guarding it and patrolmen in the air. After all, such a large ranch with so many plants and orchards will be troublesome if they are targeted by wild Pokémons. As the saying goes, you don't have to worry about thieves stealing, but you have to worry about thieves thinking about it. 1 or 2 is fine, but if wild Pokémons swarm in, no matter how strong the Pokémons in Shi Yu's ranch are, they can't withstand the opponent's attacks in turns. And once there is a fence, it is equivalent to an extra layer of security. The ranch itself is located halfway up the mountain. The east is close to the sea and the south is close to the mountain. It can be said that it is an easy to attack terrain. If another layer of fence is added, then you can rest assured. In the future, he can be more at ease when he goes on business trips. Until the sky completely darkened, Shi Yu returned to the wooden house. Xiao has already prepared dinner for today, and the aroma is tempting. Shi Yu looked up and saw a table full of croissants. Xiao, is today's dinner croissants? Shi Yu couldn't wait to pick up a fruity one and tasted it. He felt a little reluctant to leave. How is it? Brother Shi Yu, I just learned this from the internet. Xiao looked at Shi Yu expectantly, as if waiting for Shi Yu's answer. Delicious. Shi Yu made a decisive judgment. The fruit croissant made by Xiao is no less delicious than those sold in stores outside. As expected. Girls all have a talent for making bread. Then you can eat more, there are other flavors. Xiao began to introduce to Shi Yu the various flavors of croissants on the table. There are orange fruit, cherry fruit, various tree fruits. Once paired with delicious croissants, the taste becomes delicious. In addition, tonight's dinner, there is more than just this. There are also juicy sausages, fried chicken and fried rice cakes that Xiao brought from the foot of the mountain. And the mango sago made by Xiao herself. Shi Yu ate very full with this meal. Xiao is still feeding the Pokémons on the ranch. After the variety of Pokémons, the food fed is also different. For example, the giant mantis and the flying mantis all like to eat Wang Wang Valley. Milotica and the Magikarp in the pond, as well as the crows, dark crows and young tits, all love to eat rolling beans. Circle bear and baby bear all like crystal honey. There are also greedy squirrels who love to eat sticky mushrooms. Like Lottie Kappa who likes to eat bamboo shoots. Every Pokémon has a different taste. So raising a large number of Pokémons on a ranch is actually a science. You have to fully understand everyone's taste. It was not until around 8 o'clock in the evening that Xiao was completely busy. That, Brother Shi Yu, I'm going back now. The next time I come here will be next weekend, come over next weekend, you will definitely give me a bigger surprise, right? After hearing Xiao's words, Shi Yu smiled and said, of course, the ranch will become even more magnificent. Okay. It's a deal then. It's a deal. After that, Xiao rode the lamb she had chosen down the mountain. She would stay at her own home tonight. Then tomorrow morning she would ride the lamb to Mugen Town. If it weren't for the Pokémon School in Mugen Town, which is busy with graduation season, Xiao even wanted to go back and forth between Mugen Town and Hulang Town every day. After Xiao left, Shi Yu opened the task panel and prepared to submit the task. This trip to Yunchen was very fruitful. Shi Yu looked at the task on the task panel. Look at the task of taming the Pokémons. It says, completed. Complete the task, please subdue the Pokémons, 12/10. Get rewards, random gems 10, random mints 10, 100 luxury balls, a lot of experience candies. It's considered an overfulfillment, but there's no extra reward. Shi Yu felt a little disappointed. Then, he asked the system to extract the reward. Suddenly, 100 luxury balls and a large amount of experience candy appeared in Shi Yu's hand. As for gems and mints, they were still being extracted. After 10 types of extraction were completed, 10 different gems and 10 different mints appeared in Shi Yu's hand. Fire gems, electricity gems, poison gems, steel gems, water gems, fairy gems, super power gems, ground gems, ice gems, general gems. Is there a steel gem and a psychic gem at the same time this time? Shi Yu muttered. These 2 gems were undoubtedly for Metagross. As the main fighting force of the ranch, Shi Yu's primary goal was to enhance its strength. Metallic, these 2 gems are for you. Shi Yu handed the steel gem and the psychic gem to Metagross. Metagross had become very skilled at absorbing gems. It took a big bite and began to absorb the energy from the 2 gems. Steel and psychic gems were both attributes that Metagross was good at. When all the energy of the 2 gems was absorbed by Metagross, Metagross felt that its level had been greatly improved. Metagross absorbed the steel gem and the psychic gem, and its level was raised to level 62. Shi Yu was a little surprised when he saw the information displayed on the data panel. After the battle on the Rock Mountain, Metagross level was raised to 54. In other words, the 2 gems raised it by 8 levels, of king money. Then, Shi Yu handed the electric gem and the poison gem in his hand to 2 electric babies with different personalities. After absorbing the energy of the gems, their levels were greatly improved, directly raised to level 30. Suddenly, 2 white lights lit up the night of the ranch. Suddenly, the 2 electric babies evolved into 2 different forms of trembling salamanders. One was high profile, and the other was low key. Wow, my ranch band has 2 new members. Shi Yu was very satisfied with the 2 trembling salamanders in front of him. Straight Bear, it's time for you to evolve. Duogu. Galar's Hifumi ran to Shi Yu's side, sticking out his red tongue, with a face full of expectation. As one of the first Pokémons to join the ranch, Galar's Hifumi has a deep affection for Shi Yu. Shi Yu directly handed it a general gem. Chapter 85. After absorbing the energy of ordinary gems, the level of Galar Straight Bear was greatly improved. And its potential also reached the quasi-king level. Unfortunately, its level remained at level 30. Shi Yu took out 3 experience candies with high experience points and handed them to it. After eating the experience candies, a white light also lit up on the body of Galar Straight Bear. Until the white light completely dissipated, a blocking bear appeared on the ranch. A handsome female leader. Shi Yu smiled and gave the water gem to Melodic. Melodic's level was raised to level 50. Shi Yu kept the remaining 4 gems for the time being and stored them in the system space. Suddenly, Shi Yu glanced at the task panel again. The task closest to completion was to cultivate the Pokémons on the ranch and evolve them into their final form. The number of Pokémons required was 20, and there were currently 18 Pokémons on the ranch that had evolved to their final form. It was a pity that the Pokémons that could not evolve were not counted among them. The 3 types of evolution of the Ming Main Werewolf. There are 3 forms, and the 2 evolved forms of the Thrilling Salamander also count. But why don't the Pokémon that can't evolve count? The reporting system discriminates against them. Shi Yu was speechless. At this time, the task panel refreshed again. New ranch task, please subdue the Pokémons, 22/03730. Task description, in order to increase the number of Pokémons in the ranch, please expand the number of Pokémons you capture, preferably in groups. At least 10 Pokémons of the same group form a group. Mission rewards, 10 random gems, 10 random mints, 100 luxury balls, lots of experience candies. The mission rewards are the same as before, no changes, the mission difficulty is also good. Sure enough, the task of conquering the tribe is the best. Shi Yu praised secretly. At this time, the 2 newly evolved trembling salamanders and the blocking bear directly started their band performance. Shi Yu would show them the band's performance from time to time in normal times. Unexpectedly, they just evolved. They started playing here. In addition, wherever there is singing and dancing, there is always Lottie Kappa. Lottie Kappa also joined their band. For a while, the ranch entered a state of singing and dancing. The needle is not poking, my ranch band is formed? No. One drummer is missing. Shi Yu muttered to himself. Xiaohu, choose the monkey. Which monkey should I choose from the 3 major families? Kfet. Night fell. The summer night breeze was like first love, warm and refreshing. Shi Yu, lying on the balcony on the second floor, closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. At this time, a voice came. Come to Waimei Forest. The next morning, Shi Yu woke up hazily, and the dream he had last night seemed very clear to him. Go to the Waimei Forest. Shi Yu frowned, puzzled. What does that mean? He has already explored the fake forest, so why should he explore the Waimei Forest? Thinking of this, Shi Yu took out the rotten sword. There was no fluctuation on it, which meant that Kang Xiang did not summon him. Is it Zhang Morant calling me? Shi Yu muttered. According to Kang Xiang, Zhang Morant will wake up in the near future and choose one person as its hero. But Shi Yu is already Kang Xiang's hero. Could it be that the hero of the Galar region can be more important? Kang Xiang, please answer my doubts. Shi Yu waved the rotten sword in his hand. But he found that it still did not fluctuate at all. Really? Shi Yu scratched his ears, feeling helpless. Well, I'll go to the Waimei Forest when I have time. After putting away the rotten sword, Shi Yu stretched and prepared to go downstairs. Xiao was not here today, so he had to do many things at the ranch himself. No, we need to hire another ranch employee. Shi Yu muttered. It's not that Shi Yu wants to be lazy. It's really a huge ranch, plus the sleeping forest and rock mountain branch. If Shi Yu is left alone to take care of it, he will definitely be overwhelmed. He needs help. Xiao is still in school and hasn't graduated yet. He can only ask other people to help. At this time, Shi Yu received a message. Shi Yu, the rancher, my sister has arrived in the Galar region and will come to your ranch for an interview this morning. The sender was Violet. Shi Yu was stunned for a moment, and suddenly remembered that Violet had said before that her sister was Pansy, a well-known reporter. If Shi Yu agreed, he could ask Pansy to help promote the ranch. I almost forgot about this. Shi Yu scratched his head and said. No, I have to take care of the ranch quickly, otherwise, being photographed with bad content is negative publicity. Thinking of this, Shi Yu hurried downstairs. The Pokémons in the ranch have already started today's activities. The orchard is still managed by Chino Chinchilla and Floating Bubble. But now there are more dark crows living there. The dark crows flying in the sky are responsible for patrolling the ranch. Including the sleeping forest and the rock mountain branch, there are dark crows patrolling. This is arranged by the crow leader. Shi Yu asked the crow chief to arrange this. If 25 dark crows take turns patrolling, the ranch, the dozing forest, and the rocky mountain branch can all be monitored. If anything happens, they can provide immediate support. The Pokémons in the pond are spitting bubbles and living a leisurely life. And the braided sheep cottage. Oh! It laid eggs again. Shi Yu walked closer and found that there were 3 eggs in the sheep's hut. You guy, I really need to put pressure on you. Pressure brings motivation, Eggs are laid, aren't they? Shi Yu smiled and looked at the blue-ribboned sheep that had been squeezed dry. It had finally fallen asleep, but was woken up again. It was simply a nightmare for sheep. Shi Yu glanced at the 3 eggs of the sheep, and they were all of average quality. He could take them to Hulang Town and sell them to the breeding house in Hulang Town. Let's prepare breakfast for everyone first. Shi Yu prepared some Wang Wang Valley, rolling beans, and glutinous mushrooms and distributed them to the Pokémons on the ranch. After a full meal, everyone started their work for the day. Dragon-headed gopher and digging rabbit, you must reclaim the ranch land to 5,000 square meters today. Bai Qian. The dragon-head rat nodded, indicating that it was okay. Big guy, you should take a day off today. Shi Yu said to Xiang Weiyi. The main reason is that Pansy will come to the ranch to interview today. If Xiang Weiyi is there, it will definitely cause an uproar. This guy should stay in the Pokeball. Under Xiang Weiyi's somewhat reluctant gaze, Shi Yu put it into the ball. Chapter 86. At 9 in the morning, the daemon werewolf howled. The murk rose in the sky also circled the pasture, chirping non-stop. Shi Yu, who was building a botanical garden outside the sleeping forest, was immediately attracted by the voices of the 2 guard Pokémons. What happened? Shi Yu ran out to take a look. He found a goat at the foot of the mountain, slowly climbing up the mountain. On the back of the goat was a figure. A woman wearing a headset, holding a micro-single in her hand, and dressed in travel clothes. Shi Yu recognized this person as Pansy at a glance, so he quickly asked Daymane and Dark Crow to stop shouting. This person is a guest of the ranch, Don't be nervous. Ouch. Ami. Daimoni and Dark Crow nodded at the same time and went back to their work. As they rode their goats slowly up the mountain, Pansy, who was taking pictures, also noticed the handsome guy in front of him. He subconsciously gave Shi Yu a shot. It was not until the entrance of the ranch that Pansy got off the back of the goat. He smiled and looked at Shi Yu, saying, "Hello Shi Yu, the rancher, right?" Miss Pansy." The two of them pointed out each other's name and laughed together. "It seems that the Violet Gym leader has informed each other of our information." "Yes. They both have the same idea. Miss Pansy, please come in." Shi Yu took the initiative to make way for Pansy to come to his ranch. Pansy nodded and smiled. "Just call me Pansy, no need to add the suffix." "Okay." After entering Shi Yu's ranch, Pansy was shocked by the scenes in front of her and was speechless. The mirrorless camera in her hand was too busy, so she didn't have time to speak. About an hour later, Pansy came to Shi Yu's side and said excitedly, "Wow! Shi Yu, are these all your masterpieces?" To be precise, it should be the masterpiece of the joint efforts of me and everyone on the ranch." Shi Yu corrected. "If I attribute all the credit to myself, it would be unfair to the Pokémons on the ranch. They contribute to the development of the ranch every day. How can I erase their contributions? You are really a special rancher, eh? Shi Yu, I can feel that you love the Pokémons on the ranch very much." Pansy said seriously. "They are all my important companions." "Companions? He is indeed a very peculiar rancher," said Pansy. "Many ranchers would subconsciously treat the Pokémons on the ranch as their pets, livestock, and money-making tools. It is rare to see someone who can treat everyone on the ranch as a companion." Pansy looked Shi Yu up and down. She felt that Shi Yu was indeed a special person, just as Violet described. "Shi Yu, can I interview you about the ranch later? You know, I am not only a reporter, I am also a blogger. I believe that publishing your ranch in the form of vlog will attract a lot of attention." Pansy said solemnly. "Certainly, Shi. You thought about it. Is it getting a lot of attention? For a ranch, it is indeed a good thing. In addition to selling its own plants, any ranch also sells the products of the Pokémons in the ranch. In addition, it's tourism. If Shi Yu can turn the ranch into a place similar to a tourist attraction, many people will come to visit and travel. Of course, Shi Yu will charge a fee." After chatting for a while, Shi Yu invited Pansy into the house. Today's lunch is a tempura bento. Shi Yu made it in the wooden house when Pansy was filming the ranch. The Pokémons eat plants grown on the ranch, plus some desserts that Shi Yu exchanged from the ranch mall. Occasionally, you have to give them something good to eat. Otherwise, they won't work hard. After lunch, Pansy began to interview Shi Yu. All the questions basically revolved around the establishment of the ranch, the development of the ranch, and the planning of the ranch. Shi Yu answered them one by one, and when the interview was over, it was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Everyone's nap is over, and it's time to start a new round of work. Shi Yu said to Pansy. "Oh? Can I join in?" As a reporter, Pansy has interviewed ranches before, but it is rare to see a ranch as large as Shi Yu's. Therefore, Pansy also wants to experience the working atmosphere of a ranch in person. "Of course, if you want, you can try any job in the ranch," Shi Yu said with a smile. He was worried that there was no help on the ranch. "Isn't it? A natural helper has arrived." "Really? That's great, I want to try it," Pansy said excitedly. The woolen sheep in the sheepfold have grown longer. Could you please help shear their wool?" "Good." Pansy was very happy. She entered the sheepfold and started to catch the woolly sheep. However, she found that these cunning sheep were running around her and she couldn't catch them at all. "Braided sheep won't let strangers hug them, you have to calm them down first," Shi Yu explained to Pansy. "Ah? There are such rules." Pansy then understood that everything has its own skills and cannot be done according to one's own rash ideas. After squatting down, Pansy began to comfort the lamb. It was the woolen braided lamb that had just hatched. This woolen braided lamb was small and looked easy to get along with. But unexpectedly, it kicked with its hind legs and fell directly to the ground. Looking at Pansy's embarrassed appearance, Shi Yu shook his head and said, "Forget it, why don't you do something else? I also think I'm not suitable for this." Pansy said bitterly. What is this for? Pansy came to where Butterfree was. After Galar Serpentine evolved into Dumbara, the ranch sower became Butterfree. Dumbara was not fast and would not run in the fields. Asking it to sow seeds would be counterproductive. It's just right, you can follow Butterfree and sow seeds here, this job is not difficult. Shi Yu handed Pansy a bag of Wang Wang Valley seeds and said. When there were not many Pokémons on the ranch, he also did this job. The job is not difficult, but the waist is sore and the back is a little painful. Pansy looked at the field in front of her with longing, thinking that she could definitely do this job. Leave this to me. Pansy said with full energy. Half an hour later, Pansy walked to the cabin with her back hunched, waved to Shi Yu and said, I can't do it. I'm too tired. Shi Yu, after experiencing the life on your ranch, I finally understand how difficult it is to run your ranch. When I get back to it, I must write a good post to let everyone know how difficult it is to start a ranch. Chapter 87. Under the setting sun. Pansy said goodbye to Shi's ranch. Before leaving, Pansy said that she would write about the ranch and help Shi promote the ranch. In Pansy's opinion, she gained a lot from today's trip to the ranch. Shi's ranch is completely different from the regular ranch she imagined. It can be said that it refreshed Pansy's understanding of the ranch. After Pansy left, Shi returned to the cabin and prepared to make dinner tonight. At this moment, Shi received a message from Mei. Hey, has Mei called? Since they parted at the Pokémon School in Hifumi City in the Unova region, Shi Yu and Mei have not been in touch for a while. When they were at the Pokémon School in Hifumi City, Mei often pestered Shi Yu, asking questions and running around. Or, they ate all kinds of delicious food together. Mei. 20. But after graduation, Shi Yu chose to return to the town of Hulang in the Galar region. Mei stayed in the Unova region, saying that she was going to travel in the Unova region. Opening Mei's message. Shi Yu read the content she sent. Shi Yu. What's wrong with you, kid? Why haven't you contacted me for 10 days? Do you have another dog outside? Seeing the content of the message, Shi Yu frowned slightly, and then smiled happily. It is indeed Mei's tone. Then, Shi Yu continued to read the following content. Shi Yu. Since you don't take the initiative to find me, then I will come. Send me location. Shi Yu was slightly confused when he saw this message. What does it mean? Send location? Mei, are you coming to the Galar region? Shi Yu just sent the message. He immediately received a reply from Mei. I am already on my way to the airport. I bought a midnight flight and should arrive in Chuanguan City early tomorrow morning. Hey? It's tomorrow. Shi Yu said speechlessly. What's going on? So sudden? Not at all, this is the decision I made after careful consideration. Kawi-emoticon. Shi Yu was speechless again. Then he replied. You can't make it in the Unova region, so you want to come to the Galar region to seek refuge with me? I tell you, don't even think about it. I won't take you in. Shi Yu is too familiar with Mei. This girl, she does what she wants. Including coming to the Galar region, it is probably a spur-of-the-moment decision. I don't care. After sending this message, Mei went offline directly. Looking at Mei's black screen avatar, Shi Yu suddenly seemed to think of something. Wait, if Mei wants to come to my ranch, it doesn't seem like a bad thing, does it? Shi Yu touched his chin and said, originally, my ranch wanted to recruit a new employee. If Mei is willing to come, then wouldn't the problem be solved? In Shi Yu's opinion, it was indeed a good idea. I just don't know if Mei will mess around, forget it, let's talk about it when we meet tomorrow. Shi Yu didn't take the little episode about Mei coming to the Galar region to heart. Instead, he continued to prepare dinner. Today's dinner is the mushroom soup hot pot unique to the Galar region. Shi Yu is going to reward himself for his hard work during this period. By the way, let the Pokémons on the ranch taste the delicious hot pot. Since there are many Pokémons on the ranch, Shi Yu prepared a lot of ingredients. For this reason, Shi Yu even went to Hulang Town at the foot of the mountain. Until the sun completely set and the moon rose. All the Pokémons on the ranch ate the hot mushroom soup hot pot. The soup was delicious. It was the first time for the Pokémons on the ranch to enjoy this kind of food. They were all delighted. After a delicious hot pot feast, The Pokémons on the ranch began to rest. The whole ranch became very quiet as night fell. The next morning. It was grey. Shi Yu received a call from Mei. Wei. Shi Yu. I'm in Hulang City, pick me up. Mei's energetic and motivated voice came from the other end of the phone. Shi Yu opened his eyes, took a deep breath, and forced himself to calm down. Got it. After hanging up the phone, Shi Yu closed his eyes for a while. It was only about an hour. Then I got up reluctantly. First, I fed the Pokémons in the ranch. With the help of the ranch's plant maturity speed x3, the plants in the ranch grew very well. And the grains were full. Whether it was Wangwang Valley or rolling beans, the harvest was very good. The fruits in the orchard have all grown and produced a lot of fruits. Shi Yu feeds the Pokémons in the ranch 3 main types of food. Wangwang Valley, rolling beans, and glutinous mushrooms are fed according to the Pokémon's preferences. Then there are small bamboo shoots, which are eaten with the fruits. This also makes the Pokémons in the ranch eat very richly. If you eat well, you will work harder. At the same time, the ranch's experience value doubling effect allows the Pokémons in the ranch to level up rapidly. The 2 young tits before have evolved into blue jays. Walking to the braided sheep hut, Shi Yu took a look. It's a pity that no new eggs were born today. But by the pond, Shi Yu saw a Pokémon egg. Hey! You guys are working really hard. Shi Yu smiled as he looked at the lotus leaf boys and carp kings in the pond. At the same time, he glanced at the Pokémon egg. It's Magikarp's egg. After Shi Yu picked it up, he returned to the cabin and placed the egg together with the 3 woolly goat eggs from yesterday. When he was free later, he would sell the 3 eggs together. After finishing all the things, Shi Yu was ready to set off. Metagross, Giant Mantis, come here, both of you. Strange. Hatcha. 2 Pokémons flew to Shi Yu's side, as if asking Shi Yu what to do. I'm going to Hulang City. You 2 should come with me. Head. Hatcha 0.6. The 2 Pokémons nodded at the same time. However, the melodic in the stream looked a little unhappy. Malo. Minus said it also wanted to go. Are you going too? Me. Mean Sha raised his head proudly, as if to say, I am so beautiful, you must agree to my request. What a beautiful snake, of course, Shi Yu is referring to the Empress Hancock. Okay, let's go together. After that, Shi Yu took out 2 luxury balls and put Melodic and Mantis back into the balls. Then he jumped onto the back of the Metagross. Metagross, please help me. Head. Fly all the way north. Shi Yu pointed to the direction of Hulang Town in the north and told the giant golden monster to fly there. Chapter 88. It is not too far to fly from Shi Yu's ranch to Hulang Town. If you take a bus, it will take about half an hour. However, the flying speed of the giant golden monster is much faster than the bus. In just a few minutes, Shi Yu arrived at the subway station of Hulang Town. In fact, Shi Yu can also take the giant golden monster and fly all the way to Hulang City. But, after all, the shining Metagross is too conspicuous. Flying in the air, it will probably attract a lot of attention. If someone is targeting you, you will be in trouble. In addition, Shi Yu had other things to do when he went to Hulang City, so he asked Metagross to take a rest first. After getting on the subway, about an hour later, Shi Yu arrived in Hulang City. Exit the subway station in Hulang City. To the northeast is the airport in Hulang City. However, at this time, Shi Yu heard the sound of a riot coming from the outskirts of Hulang City. What's going on? Shi Yu asked in surprise. At the same time, he saw many people running to the outskirts of Hulang City, as if they were watching something. Shi Yu went in that direction without hesitation. Lying on the towering city wall of Hulang City, Shi Yu saw a huge monster appear in the wild wilderness outside Hulang City. It was shining with red light. This huge monster looked extremely dazzling. Is this the Giganotosaurus? Shi Yu looked at the new land that had risen on the ground. It was actually a Giganotosaurus. Its belly was like a plant, and there was a tall tree with red energy swirling around it. How could there be a Snorlax here? Gigantamaxed. Shi Yu frowned slightly, as if he had thought of something. There are indeed many places in the Galar region that are filled with Gigantamaxed energy. For example, when Shi Yu encountered the coal mine in Rock Mountain before, it also Gigantamaxed. In other words, there is also Gigantamaxed energy in this area. Did a sleeping Snorlax enter the Gigantamaxed form? Suddenly, Shi Yu heard a rumbling snoring sound. Even though it entered the Gigantamaxed form, Snorlax was still sleeping. And because of the Gigantamaxing, Snorlax's snoring actually increased in volume? Damn it, my eardrums are about to shatter. A short girl screamed and ran away. Then, many people ran away from the wall of Hulang City. Obviously, no one could withstand the mental attack brought by the Super Gigantamax Snorlax. They all ran away? Then no one is taking care of this Snorlax. Shi Yu was surprised. At the same time, he glanced at the Super Gigantamax Snorlax and checked its values on the data panel. Pokémon, Snorlax, Gigantamax. Level, 1v50. Attribute, General. Features, Thick Fat. Because of the thick fat protection, the damage of fire and ice attribute moves will be halved. Individual stats, HP, 31, Attack, 31, Defense, 22, Special Attack, 22, Special Defense, 31, Speed, 15. Skills, Impact, Swallow, Piercing Sound, Round, Wave Finger, Lick, Throw, Recycle, Charge, Mad, Desire, Block the Way, Yawn, Bite, Snoring, Sleep Talk, Sleep, Bite, Mountain Pressure, Heavy Collision, Instant Amnesia, 100,000 horsepower, Arm Hammer, Belly Drum, Super Impact. Things to bring, Leftovers, Incense for Satiety. Potential, Quasi-King level. Tisk. Is it still Snorlax with the potential to be a Quasi-King? A&D. You brought the leftovers and the incense for filling your stomach, which are such good items. You know, these two items are both secret treasures. Suddenly, Shi Yu had the idea of taming the Snorlax in front of him. But the price of taming the Snorlax is a bit high. Will this guy eat me out of money? If he really eats me, I'm afraid the plants on my ranch won't be able to support him. Shi Yu frowned. At this moment, Shi Yu saw a figure appear in front of him. The girl with twin ponytails actually took the initiative to greet him. Mei. This idiot. Shi Yu didn't expect that Mei would rush out to challenge this Giga Snorlax. Mei took out 2 Pokeballs and released the Pokemon inside. They were a Vine Snake and a Mimosa. The 2 Pokemon attacked Giga Snorlax together. However, the attack was ineffective. And he was directly repelled by the snoring of Super Snorlax. Not good. Shi Yu looked at Mei's back and felt something was wrong. It was obvious that if they continued to fight, Mei would not only be no match for this Super Snorlax, but she might even get hurt. Come out, Metagross. At this point, Shi Yu didn't care about the fact that shiny Metagross was exposed. He directly rode on the back of Metagross and flew downwards. Metagross, prepare to meet the enemy. Hey! The Metagross roared and came to the front of the Super Giga Snorlax. Shi Yu jumped off the back of the Metagross and came to the side of Mei. Are you okay, Mei? Shi Yu. Mei Yi was delighted when she saw Shi Yu. You've arrived in Hulang City. Why didn't you call me? I was just walking around the street waiting for you out of boredom. Mei complained, then turned from anger to joy and said, hee. Shi Yu, since you're here, I'll leave this big guy to you. I can't beat it. Mei looked at Shi Yu a little aggrieved. Then she glanced at her 2 baby Pokemons. Shi Yu was speechless. Good guy. You can't beat it, but you still rush so fast, right? What a reckless man. You retreat to the city wall over there, the farther the better. Shi Yu pointed to the city wall in the distance and said to Mei Yi. Okay. Mei picked up her 2 Pokemon and ran towards the distant city wall. Shi Yu turned to look at the Giga Snorlax in front of him. Under the attack of Metagross, Giga Snorlax seemed to have woken up. The deafening roar made Shi Yu and the people on the wall feel an unbearable pain in their eardrums. Is he awake? Shi Yu said in surprise. At this moment, the Super Snorlax seemed to stand up. The red energy hovering on the tree swirled around and stained the giant gold monster that had just attacked. The size of the giant gold monster suddenly grew. What? Is the Metagross going to be Gigantamaxed too? Shi Yu opened his eyes wide. Looking at the Metagross that was gradually expanding, he was speechless for a moment. After a moment, the Metagross became extremely huge, like an extremely large land crab. Its four limbs pressed on the ground. It looked into the eyes of the super Gigantamax Snorlax in front of it. Chapter 89. Outside the city wall of Hulang City, in addition to the super Gigantamax Snorlax, there was another Gigantamax Metagross. In a short time, this news spread quickly in Hulang City. The gym leader of Hulang City, Chibana, also served as the administrator of Hulang City. In fact, the gym leader of each city actually has the responsibility to protect the city. After hearing the news, Chibana rushed to the city wall of Hulang City without stopping. At this time, the battle outside the city wall had already begun. Gigantamax? That's really cool! Shi Yu exclaimed. After the Mega Evolution, the Metagross has experienced Gigantamax again. It can be said that in addition to the three special abilities of Z-Move, the Metagross has experienced them all. Head. The Gigantamax Megazord roared, as if to drown out the voice of the Gigantamax Snorlax in front of it. At this time, Gigantamax Snorlax launched its attack. Gigantamax resources regenerated. For a moment, a large number of tree fruits fell from Gigantamax Snorlax's body. Gigantamax Snorlax ate these tree fruits one by one. It seemed to be restoring its life energy. What a shameless move! Shi Yu muttered, but if you just reply, you won't be able to withstand the iron fist of Metagross. Metagross, let it feel your enhanced boxing power after Dynamaxing. Hey! The Metagross nodded and released its Gigantamax fist. The fierce attack made the Gigantamax Snorlax feel uncomfortable. Among its racial values, the higher ability values are HP, physical attack, and special defense. In terms of physical defense, it is not outstanding. Therefore, it is extremely painful to be hit by the Gigantamax Metagross. The effect is very significant. Taking advantage of the victory, Metagross switches to using a Gigantamax critical hit. The Gigantamax fist has a buff that increases the attack. After the Gigantamax Metagross has increased its attack, it uses a Super Gigantamax critical hit the next moment, which seems to go straight to the vitals of Gigantamax Snorlax. After noticing this, Gigantamax Snorlax uses the Gigantamax wall to resist the attack of Gigantamax Metagross. Pretty smart, huh? Knowing to use the Maxi defense at this time. This is a move similar to the defensive move. It can completely resist the opponent's attack. But like the defensive move, it is necessary to use it continuously, will fail. Come again, Metagross, a supergiant critical hit. Head. This time, the Dynamaxed Metagross's fierce Super Gigantamax critical hit directly hit the weak spot of the Super Gigantamax Snorlax. The Super Gigantamax Snorlax was directly broken into the Super Gigantamax state and gradually shrank. At the same time, the Dynamax energy in the body of the Dynamaxed Metagross seemed to disappear and shrank together. When the two Pokémon returned to their original size, Snorlax confronted the Metagross for about 2 seconds. It lay down and began to sleep. Snoring. When Snorlax started snoring and did not cause any harm to anyone present, Shi Yu was sure that this was not Snorlax's combination of sleeping and snoring. Did you really fall asleep? Ah! This. Seeing this scene, Shi Yu was dumbfounded. You fell asleep after fighting for so long? Can you respect your opponent? After a while of silence, Shi Yu simply took out a luxury ball and threw it at the Snorlax. The luxury ball hit the body of the Snorlax accurately. After the Snorlax was put into the ball, it hardly shook, indicating that it was successfully captured. Isn't it too easy? This capture was much easier than Shi Yu expected. Originally, I thought that Metagross would have to fight with Snorlax before it could be defeated and captured. But this guy, after hitting it twice, actually started to move directly. It's Snorlax indeed. Shi Yu walked over, picked up Snorlax's luxury ball, and put it in his pocket. At this time, Mei came running over. Shi Yu. You are really good, you defeated this big guy? You are worthy of being my opponent. Mei put her hands on her hips, looking like a JK girl. Mei, can you not be so reckless next time? You can't beat this Snorlax again. When Shi Yu thought of Mei rushing out to fight this Snorlax, he felt a little scared. If Shi Yu was not here, wouldn't Mei be in big trouble? None of these guys on the wall dared to fight. Isn't it because you saw something new and wanted to give it a try? Mei stuck out her tongue playfully, trying to brush off the topic. At the same time, on the city wall, Chibana was watching the two people below with a smile on his face. In fact, he had already arrived at the city wall during the first round of the battle between Gigantamax Metagross and Gigantamax Snorlax. The reason why he didn't attack directly was that he wanted to see how capable this trainer with shiny Metagross was. After watching the whole process of the battle, Chibana became very interested in Shi Yu. Suddenly, Chibana hurried down from the city wall and ran towards Shi Yu. At this moment, a guy also ran down from another passage of the city wall. A young man with golden curly hair and wearing purple clothes. He ran faster than Chibana and ran in front of Shi Yu before Chibana. "You are Shi Yu." Shi Yu turned his head when he heard someone calling him. He recognized the man in front of him. He was the trainer who got the invitation from Roz and started to challenge the gyms in Galar League, Peter. He was a guy who had strong confidence in Pokémon battles and had strong strength. According to Shi Yu's impression of him, he seemed to inherit the position of gym leader of Poplar in the dance arena in the future. Didn't expect it to be him? Shi Yu was about to speak, but he found that the figure on the right had also arrived. "Hey, boy, you run pretty fast." Chibana took 2 breaths. Then he looked at Shi Yu and said with a smile, "Young man, I saw your fight just now. You are quite interesting, aren't you?" Shi Yu was a little confused when he saw the 2 people in front of him. What does that mean? Peter and Chibana, are they both looking for him? "You are, what are you doing?" Shi Yu asked bluntly. "Please join me in a Pokémon battle. Please challenge me." The former was said by Peter, and the latter was said by Chibana. Shi Yu glanced at the 2 of them, a little speechless. What does that mean? 2 people who suddenly appeared are going to fight against him? Tell me the reason. Shi Yu must know why they want to fight him. "I heard from Mary that there was a man with a flash of light," Peter glanced at Shi Yu's Metagross. As far as he could remember, Mary was talking about Metallogross, but now it seemed to have evolved into Metagross. Mary said, "You defeated her. As her rival, I must say that I am stronger than her. So, I will defeat the opponent she can't defeat." Chapter 90. Hearing the words of the middle school boy in front of him, Shi Yu narrowed his eyes. What? What kind of reason is this for a challenge? Shi Yu did not rush to answer, but looked at Chibana. "What about you?" "Me? Do I need a reason? I am the strongest man in Galar, don't you want to challenge me?" Looking at Chibana's confident face, Shi Yu said without hesitation, "The strongest? But you are just the gym leader, Dandy is the champion." Snap! "Don't mention that guy to me, I only lost to him half a hand. Just half a hand. I will win back next time." As expected, the fact that he cannot beat Dandy is Chibana's Achilles heel. As the strongest gym leader in the Galar region, his goal must be to defeat the current champion. After hearing what Chibana said, Shi Yu's eyes turned slightly, revealing a late-stage straight male cancer smile, and said, "But in the last championship challenge, if I remember correctly, he beat you 2-6. This is indeed true. It happened a week ago, and Shi Yu happened to watch the recording of that live broadcast. So he knew, not only did Chibana lose to the champion Dante once again, but he also lost in an embarrassing way. Snap! I had diarrhea that day, I was not in good condition." Chibana wanted to explain something. Shi Yu waved his hand and said, "Don't say more, I understand." "No. You don't understand, you have to listen to me." Now 963, Chibana is really anxious. You can say anything about him, but you can't say that he is not as good as Dandy, and you can't say that there is a big gap between him and Dandy. This hurts Chibana's self-esteem. Okay, so, Peter, Chibana, you both want to challenge me?" Shi Yu changed the subject. "Yes." Peter nodded, staring at Shi Yu with serious eyes. Chibana shouted, "No. It's you who wants to challenge me. But I don't want to challenge you." Shi Yu frowned slightly, revealing a bitter expression. This made Chibana at a loss. As the strongest gym leader in the Galar region, he took the initiative to challenge a passerby trainer. What is this? It will be laughed at by other gym leaders. But after seeing Shi Yu's strength, he wanted to fight with Shi Yu very much, so he could only let Shi Yu challenge himself. In this way, he would not lose face and could complete the battle with Shi Yu. Shi Yu narrowed his eyes and said, "Actually, I don't want to fight with you, but, if you guys want to fight so badly, I can give you a chance." Let's go to Chibana's gym and make it quick. I have something to do this afternoon. Shi Yu scratched his ear and said. He was not joking. He really had something to do this afternoon. This time, in addition to picking up Mei, Shi Yu also had to capture 10 messenger birds. The ranch's logistics team has not yet been formed. Are there still battles to watch? Mei Yi's eyes lit up after hearing everyone's conversation. As a girl who loves fighting, she also likes to watch Pokémon's fighting. Shi Yu's battle with the gym leader in the Galar region made Mei Yi very interested. Let's go, Mei. Shi Yu took the initiative to touch Mei's bun, and she did not resist. When she was in the Pokémon School in Hifumi City, Shi Yu often touched Mei's bun. The touch was very good. Mei resisted at first, but later, she got used to being ravaged by Shi Yu. Under the guidance of Chibana, the group passed through the gate of the city wall and entered Chuanguan City. Today was actually Shi Yu's first time to come to Chuanguan City. The last time he came back from the Unova region. Shi Yu's plane landed at the airport in Jiking City. Chuanguan City is closer to Jiking City. The north is very far away. However, this city is one of the most prosperous cities in the Galar region. The architectural style is also very fashionable. Following behind Chibana, Shi Yu and his group received the attention of passers-by. Speaking of which, Shi Yu's feat of challenging the Super Gigantamax Snorlax was seen by many people in Chuanguan City. Everyone witnessed Shi Yu's strength. In Chuanguan City, a city where everyone respects strength, the stronger you are, the more respect you will get. It's obvious. Shi Yu has been recognized by most people. The gym in Chuanguan City is located in the city center of Chuanguan City. It is very large and spectacular. After entering the Chuanguan gym, Shi Yu saw a very large audience seat. This should be the most prosperous battle arena in the Galar region, except for the official arena of the league. Shi Yu, who do you want to fight first? On the way, Chibana asked Shi Yu's name. As soon as he entered the battlefield, Chibana asked Shi Yu the order of the battle. Let's fight Peter first. Shi Yu said casually. Actually, it would be fine to fight Chibana first, but in Shi Yu's opinion, it might be faster to fight Peter, less than a minute. Okay. After that, the two of them walked to the battlefield. Inside Chibana's gym, there was a professional referee hired by the Alliance. He announced the rules of the game. In fact, according to the gym challenge, it is usually a 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 challenge. However, since it is a personal battle, 1-on-1 is also possible. The Pokémon that Peter sent out to fight was Ameblim, which had not yet evolved into the initial form of Tablim. The level was 27. After seeing this Pokémon, Shi Yu's first reaction was, "That's it? You dare to say you are going to avenge Mary? Who gave you the confidence? Come out, Min Xiao." With the attitude of not bullying others, Shi Yu chose to let Min Xiao come out to fight. However, before the battle started, Meblim was trembling with fear. It is the danger prediction feature of Meblim, no wonder she is so scared. Shi Yu muttered. Pokémon with the danger prediction feature can sense the upcoming danger. Given the level difference between Minich and Meblim, Meblim would indeed be scared. The battle begins. As soon as the referee waved the flag in his hand, Shi Yu ordered Min Xiao to launch an attack. A fierce water cannon directly hit Meblim. Meblim was directly knocked away, and when she landed, she had already lost her ability to fight. Blim! Peter ran over with some concern. Don't worry, it's not a big deal, it's just in a dying state, it can be cured by taking it to the Pokémon Center. Shi Yusha said. At the same time, he did not forget to add, Peter, your current strength is not enough to challenge me. If you want to defeat me, try harder. As for Mary, I think she should be stronger than you. Shi Yu's last words were a bit heartless. Peter ran out of the Chuanguan dojo crying. You kid, really, how cruel. After Peter left, Chibana couldn't help but come up and say something. When Shi Yu was bad-mouthing Chibana before, he always mentioned Dante. It was really abominable. Chapter 91. No way? Is it illegal for me to tell the truth? Shi Yu said innocently. Chibana glanced at Shi Yu and saw that Shi Yu was not a person without emotional intelligence. He just wanted to disgust others. But this, it's even more disgusting than having no emotional intelligence. People. Chibana was speechless for a moment. Shi Yu ignored Chibana and glanced at the task panel column of the data panel. The task of challenging trainers, the current progress bar is, 3/5, there are still 2 people missing. This is also the main reason why Shi Yu was forced to accept Peter's challenge. To put it bluntly, it is to complete the task and get a reward. As for agreeing to Kaibana's request for a fight was purely for the reward of a giant mantis evolution stone after defeating the gym leader. At present, Shi Yu only has a Metagross evolution stone. If there is another giant mantis evolution stone, Shi Yu's strength will be further improved. However, Shi Yu originally wanted to fight other gym leaders. After all, Kaibana is the strongest gym leader in the Galar region. His strength is really not exaggerated. And for every battle, he will be ready and will not let the opponent down. Chibana, let's start the fight right away, don't waste time, I have something else to do later. Shi Yu urged. Okay, let's have a passionate fight. Chibana said, and walked to the edge of the battlefield. Because the last battle ended too quickly, the battlefield was intact. Therefore, there was no need to change the battlefield for this battle. 3 on 3, is that okay? Chibana asked. 3 on 3? You mean the scale of the gym challenge? Shi Yu did not answer Chibana's question, but asked back. That's right, since you've come to my gym, let's have a proper battle. When the time comes, if you participate in the second Pokémon World Championship, it will also be a 3 on 3 match. Chibana said seriously. Shi Yu thought about it and it was indeed true. However, with Shi Yu's current spirit level, I'm afraid he can't keep up with Chibana's spirit level. 3 on 3 is fine, but you have to use the Pokémon used in the gym challenge, not your main Pokémon. You know, I'm just a rancher who has just become a trainer. Hearing Shi Yu's words, Chibana almost cursed him for being shameless. Judging from the level of Shi Yu's battle just now, he seemed to have just become a trainer not long ago. However, Chibana still agreed. After all, his 6 main Pokémons were all badly damaged in the championship challenge a week ago. Currently, he can only use the Pokémons of the second team to replace them. Come on! After that, the referee announced the rules of the match. 3 on 3, the challenger can change the fighting Pokémon at will, limited to 3. The gym owner cannot change the fighting Pokémon on the field, otherwise it will be regarded as voluntarily giving up the Pokémon's qualification to fight. Gigantamax, Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, and Crystallization, of the 4 special battle modes, only one can be used in this battle. Otherwise, it will be considered a violation. After listening to the referee's announcement of the battle rules, Shi Yu nodded secretly. Chibana's gym is in line with the challenge rules of the Alliance. This set of rules was also used in the first Pokémon World Championship. Okay, let's get started. After listening to the rules, Shi Yu took the initiative to say, my first match will be played by Melodic. I'm telling you in advance, so I'll give it to you. In the Pokémon battle, the chicken talk part is actually a part of play. If you can break the opponent's defense and make him angry, it can actually increase your chances of winning. However, some veteran strongmen are not willing to do this, or maybe they are embarrassed to say bad words. But among young people, bad words are often seen. It can be regarded as a spice in the battle between Pokémons. You kid! Really? Chibana was a little powerless to complain. He had no choice but to take out a luxurious ball and send out the Pokémons inside. With the flashing red light, a huge rock monster appeared on the field. At the same time, a huge dust was raised on the entire battlefield. Seeing this scene, Shi Yu frowned and said, what do you mean? Chibana, aren't you a dragon-type gym leader? What do you mean by using a rock-type Pokémon to fight? Are you looking down on me, or do you not even have any dragon-type Pokémon? Just like the Flying King Dodo in the Kanto region. After hearing Shi Yu's words, the corners of Chibana's mouth began to twitch. He wondered in his heart, why is Shi Yu, the challenger in front of him, so nagging? After forcing himself to calm down, Chibana asked, don't you know my nickname? What's your nickname? Shi Yu looked confused. Then he said, the descendant of the dodo, the free-range chicken. You. Chibana was completely defeated. He was furious and said, my nickname is Weather Starter. So I used Pang Yang Wei to start the sandstorm weather, no problem. Shi Yu could feel that Kaibana was a little hysterical. After a moment of ecstasy, he smiled and said, oh, does this have anything to do with your title of free-range chicken? Chibana was full of questions. When did he get the title of free-range chicken? Wasn't it you who gave it to him? Okay, stop quibbling. I don't want to hear your explanation. Shi Yu waved his hand and said, Min Xiao, attack. In fact, in the previous part of the trash talk, Min Xiao had quietly approached the giant rock monster. In the sandstorm, except for steel, rock, and ground-type Pokémon, all will be affected by the sandstorm. Not only will the health points be reduced, but also the visual range and skill hit rate will be reduced. Therefore, Shi Yu used the tactic of using dirty words on the surface. In fact, he was letting Min Xiao approach quietly. After Min Xiao approached the giant rock monster, Shi Yu snapped his fingers. Min Xiao understood. Maloo. The mighty water cannon hit the body of the giant rock monster. The water-based moves were a fatal blow to the rock-based giant rock monster. Under the powerful attack of Melodic, the entire body of the giant rock monster was pushed out and hit the wall of the battlefield. When it fell again, its eyes were already spinning and it had lost its ability to fight. What? This. Shi Yu, you are despicable. Chibana was a little manic. He realized that Shi Yu's previous words were just to buy time for Min Xiao. Damn! Is there such a despicable tactic? Actually, there is, however, Chibana has always been in a high position. His opponents, apart from the strong ones in the alliance, are challengers who have obtained 7 gym badges. These people are all shameless and no one will say dirty words. This is why Chibana fell into Shi Yu's trap. Chapter 92. Referee, can we start the next match? When Chibana accused Shi Yu shouted directly to the professional referee of Chuanguan Gym. The referee coughed and said, Chibana, Pang Yanghua has lost its ability to fight. Please take it back and send the next Pokémon to fight. After hearing the referee's urging, Chibana's face turned pale, and he took Pang Yanghua back into the Pokeball. Then he released a desert dragonfly. Like the Pang Yan monster, are they all level 50 Pokémons? Shi Yu nodded secretly. He roughly understood something. It seems that when Chibana does not use a team of main Pokémons, the Pokémons used in the gym battle are all Pokémons with gym level strength of level 50. In this case, Shi Yu is not inferior to Chibana. Even if it is a fair fight, Shi Yu does not think he will lose. The battle against 980 begins. The referee's voice sounded at the right time. Chibana hurriedly ordered Desert Dragonfly, use Dragon Dance, then Sonic Wave attack. Dragon Dance plus Sonic Wave. In this sandstorm, this combination is indeed very powerful. However, Dragon Dance takes time. When the Desert Dragonfly Dragon dances, Shi Yu can completely change the battlefield. Min Xiao, pray for rain. In Shi Yu's ranch, the Weatherman is more than just a floating bubble Pokémon. After the Ugliest evolved into Min Xiao, Shi Yu taught it to pray for rain. As the raindrops gradually fell from the sky, the raised sandstorm began to disappear. The desert dragonfly that was performing the dragon dance suddenly appeared in the sight of Shi Yu and Min Xiao. The desert dragonfly that was still performing the dragon dance looked extremely uncomfortable after its wings were wet by the rain. After all, although the desert dragonfly has the floating characteristic and can fly in the air at any time, it is a real earth dragon. I didn't expect you could change the weather. Chibana glanced at Shi Yu and murmured. Same here. Shi Yu responded with a smile. In the last match, it was all a battle of trash talk, but in this match, Shi Yu was polite. Without knowing the strength of the opponent, taking the initiative first is the best way to win. But, after finding out the strength of the opponent, if you can win by fighting, you don't have to use those little tricks. Shi Yu looked at the battlefield. The desert dragonfly, whose dragon dance was about to end, smiled calmly and said, Min Xiao, charming voice. As a sonic move, the power of the sonic boom is definitely greater than that of the charming voice. But, that requires a slow rise. The charming voice, on the other hand, is a direct attack. And for the dragon-type desert dragonfly, it is a fatal injury. To strike the snake at its most vulnerable part, Shi Yu did not use any useless moves in this battle. On the contrary, every move he made melodic use was fatal. When the charming voice sounded, the desert dragonfly, who was about to use the sonic boom, suddenly found that his spirit was agitated. The energy of the fairy type suppressed its blood, making it unable to launch the sonic boom. Desert Dragonfly! Chibana shouted. He never thought that after losing the first battle inexplicably, he would be completely suppressed in the second battle. What kind of monster is Shi Yu in front of him? And why is his Min Xiao so strong? Chibana was a little confused. At this time, Min Xiao exhaled a blue freezing energy. Obviously, this is a freezing beam. The freezing beam directly hit the desert dragonfly. The desert dragonfly fell to the ground without even struggling, losing its ability to fight. Desert dragonfly has lost its ability to fight. Please ask the gym leader to send out the next Pokémon to fight. The referee was also very shocked when he announced this result. He knew the strength of Chibana. Even if these two Pokémon were not Chibana's main Pokémon, it would not be such a disastrous loss. This can only mean that Shi Yu, as a challenger, seems to be a little too strong. Hey! Shi Yu, I have to admit that you are really strong. Chibana took a deep breath, took back the desert dragonfly, and took out a high-level ball. Come out, Altanon. In the third battle, Chibana chose Altanon. Everyone who knows Chibana knows that Chibana's signature Pokémon is Altanon. However, at that time, you checked the information of this aluminum steel dragon on the data panel. Secretly relieved. This aluminum steel dragon shouldn't be your trump card, right? Shi Yu asked proactively. Oh? You can find that out. Chibana was slightly startled, then laughed, ha 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 ha, yes. My ace aluminum steel dragon was seriously injured in the championship challenge a week ago and is currently recovering. This Altanon is a Pokémon of my Altanon, and it is also a standout in the group. After hearing Chibana's explanation, Shi Yu roughly understood. It seems that it's not just him. Like Chibana, or other gym leaders, when they capture Pokémon, they don't just capture one. If they encounter an outstanding Pokémon in the group, they will even capture one more. This is actually a good habit. Quasi-king level potential, 1v60 aluminum steel dragon, it is indeed powerful enough. Shi Yu thought to himself. Suddenly, he took out a luxury ball and put the melodic back into the ball. Thank you for your hard work, melodic. After saying this to the deluxe ball in his hand, Shi Yu quickly replaced the Pokeball and released the Metagross. After the battle with Snorlax, the injuries he had suffered had basically healed. Facing Altanon, he could maintain his best combat power. Oh? Is it finally here? Metagross. Chibana stared at Shi Yu and Metagross, and suddenly said, I will not let down in this battle. I will use Gigantamax to fight with all my strength 1.7. After that, Chibana directly put Alpharon back into the Pokeball. This is a step of Gigantamax. With the rapid expansion of the Pokeball, a Gigantamax Alpharon came out of the super large Pokeball. Are you going to use all your strength right from the start? Then I won't hold back either. Shi Yu showed the prop he had prepared in advance. The Keystone. The Keystone and the Super Stone on the giant gold monster's body reflected each other. They flashed with magnificent light. In an instant, the body of the giant gold monster suddenly changed. From the form of the giant gold monster, it super evolved into Mega Giant Gold Monster. Oh no! It can also Mega Evolve? But unfortunately, this is in the Galar region. Gigantamax is the strongest move. Chibana seemed to have an inexplicable confidence. Chapter 93. Is that so? Shi Yu smiled. As a person from Galar, he understood Chibana's idea. He felt that his native fighting style was the strongest. But, is this really the case? Not necessarily. In fact, in Shi Yu's opinion, among the four major combat forms, Mega Evolution is the most perfect one. On the contrary, Gigantamax and Z moves are both flawed. As for Mega Crystallization, a bit too simple. The battle begins. The referee seemed to be looking forward to seeing this battle and announced the start of the battle directly. Chibana could no longer suppress the urge to fight. He ordered the Gigantamax Aluminum Dragon Gigantamax Deterioration and Decay. This is the move that Gigantamax Aluminum Dragon is best at. A majestic dragon energy rushed towards the Mega Titanium. There was a feeling of unstoppable force, ready to devour everything. Shi Yu was calm as if nothing had happened. He said to the Mega Titanium, hold on. These two slight words made Chibana suddenly startled. Who? Is it so important, in the grand battle, you are going to hold on? Can you have some shame? Suddenly. Chibana suddenly thought of Shi Yu's rubbish at the beginning. Sure enough. Shi Yu is still the same Shi Yu, even though he was polite in the last battle, but he has not changed. Hey! A light shield was placed in front of the Mega Metagross. This overwhelming energy was perfectly blocked outside. Come again, aluminum steel dragon. Ultra great degradation and decay. After giving the order, Kai Bana looked at Shi Yu and thought to himself, now it's up to you to decide. You can only use it once. If you use it continuously, it will definitely fail. Metagross, stand in. Head. Suddenly, Mega Metagross spawned a doll-sized stand that stood in front of him. According to the stand's rules, it would not be harmed before the stand disappeared. The stand would definitely be able to resist the opponent's attack. After seeing the instantaneous change on the field, Chibana was dumbfounded. Me? Are you playing such a scumbag? Of course he knew the effect of the substitute. But he didn't expect that he would be in a head-on battle. But Shi Yu chose to escape? Shouldn't real men be real? There is only one round left. In the next round, I can let Metagross defend it again. Chibana, your Gigantamax can only last for 3 rounds. When the 3 rounds expire, it will end the Gigantamax form. How will you fight my Mega Metagross then? Shi Yu smiled. This is where Shi Yu feels that Gigantamax is insufficient. In battle, it is only valid for 3 rounds. After the expiration, it will return to its original state. Even after Gigantamaxing, the power of skills will change, and HP will be thicker. But, the opponent used the substitute defense tactic in the substitute defense poison tactic, and you are completely helpless against it. Shi Yu. Can't you fight me openly? Is it really okay to evade like this? Chibana questioned. Shi Yu smiled and said although evasion is shameful, it is very effective. The ultimate goal of the Pokémon battle is to win. It's good to win, who cares how you win? I'm not fighting for the cheers of the audience. What's more, there were no spectators in this battle. Oh, no. Mei was the only spectator. Mei was looking at Shi Yu on the battlefield at this moment, her eyes full of admiration. In the past, when she was at the Pokémon School in Hifumi City, Mei liked Shi Yu's battles very much. In every battle, Shi Yu could show very unique tactics. It opened Mei's eyes. To this day, Shi Yu's battles are still in her eyes. Return to the battlefield. In the 3rd round, Chibana was still very stubborn and let Gigantamax Alucard perform Gigantamax deterioration. Shi Yu told Mega Metagross to defend and resist perfectly. Then, Gigantamax Alucard was released from the Gigantamax state. It has returned to the size of a normal aluminum dragon. It's our turn, Mega Metagross, use the arm hammer. Head. After Mega Evolution, Mega Metagross's stats have been significantly improved. The biggest improvement is undoubtedly its physical attack. A punch was thrown down. It hit the side of Alte Grass hard. Alte Grass felt pain and leaned to the side. This punch almost twisted Alte Grass's body. The next moment, Mega Metagross appeared above Alte Grass with a malicious smile on its face. Earthquake. Shi Yu's order was just 2 simple words. The physical injuries sustained by the aluminum steel dragon will probably take half a month to completely heal. Altinosaurus lost its ability to fight. Since all 3 of Chibana's Pokémons were unable to fight, the winner of this gym challenge was Shi Yu. The referee announced the result of this match the moment Altinosaurus fell to the ground. Under the powerful earthquake, Altinosaurus had no chance to breathe. The continuous fighting and ground attacks could be said to be, directly destroyed the aluminum steel dragon's Deo heart. Damn it! Chibana gritted his teeth and looked a little indignant. To be honest, he accepted the result of the fight. But he refused to accept it. If he lost in a fair and square fight, he could accept it. But, Shi Yu was just playing dirty. Shi Yu ignored Chibana's rage. His attention was on the task board. After defeating Chibana 490, he would have defeated 2 gym leaders. Trainer Diary. Challenge the gyms in the Galar region. 2/8. Finish the battle. Mission, challenge a random gym leader you have never challenged before, complete a wonderful battle and win. 1/1. Rewards, 1 giant mantis evolution stone, 1 steel gem, a small amount of experience candy. Sure enough, even the system admitted that this was a wonderful battle. The defensive tactics are really powerful. Shi Yu laughed. He then extracted the giant claw mantis evolution stone. It was almost the same as the Metagross evolution stone, except that the color inside was slightly different. At the same time, Shi Yu also extracted the steel gem and a small amount of experience candy and stored them in the system space. At this time, the task panel refreshed again. Trainer Diary. Challenge the gyms in the Galar region. 2/8. New battle mission, challenge an unchallenged gym leader within 10 days and win, 0/1. Mission description, as an outstanding rancher, you must be strong enough to protect your ranch. Challenging the gym is definitely the best opportunity to prove your strength. Please take the time to challenge the gym leader you have never defeated. Mission rewards, 1 Boscodora Evolution Stone, 1 Fossil Sea Beast, a small amount of experience candy. Chapter 94. Oh, what? The reward for the new mission is actually a Boscodora Evolution Stone and a fossil. At this time, Shi Yu suddenly thought that there was a fossil hidden in his system space. This is a fossil from the Galar region. It takes 2 fossils to revive a fossil Pokémon. If you complete this mission, you can capture another Pokémon from the fossil. For the ranch, fossil Pokémon have a great use, that is, totems. You can make one. But, I'm not in a hurry. Anyway, the deadline given by the system is 10 days. Shi Yu can go to any gym leader in the Galar region and challenge him in 9 days. In Shi Yu's opinion, with his strength, it is not difficult to successfully challenge 8 gym leaders. Shi Yu suddenly seemed to think of something and looked at Chibana. But he found that Chibana walked over energetically. Chibana was a little disdainful of Shi Yu's dirty tricks. But if you lose, you lose. As the gym leader, he should fulfill his promise and hand over the dragon badge with a dragon pattern as proof of his victory to Shi Yu. Thank you. Shi Yu took the badge from Chibana. The second badge is the dragon badge. This is absolutely a legendary existence in the Galar region. After all, any challenger in the Galar region knows how powerful Chibana, the gym leader of the Chuanguan gym, is. Compared with the other 7 gym leaders who will adjust the Pokémons fighting against the challengers according to the number of badges of the challengers, Chibana is simply a pervert. This guy, every time he faces a challenger, they are all gym-level Pokémons. This made him once known as the most difficult gym leader in the Galar region. Of course, the Alliance actually acquiesced to this. After all, if a challenger with a little strength can get 8 gym badges, it will reduce the gold content of the gym badge. Therefore, the Alliance deliberately set a level for those challengers at Chibana. But who would have thought that someone could break through this level in advance? This is simply perverted. Chibana, I actually have something else to ask you. Just now, Shi Yu turned around and looked at Chibana, not because of this badge. To be honest, the reward given by the system is much more valuable than this badge. What's up? About the Pokémon World Championships. Shi Yu paused and asked, is this year's Pokémon World Championship about to start? And it will be held in our Galar region. Chibana was stunned and smiled, yes, because in the last Pokémon World Championship, which was the first one, our Galar region's champion, Dante, won the first championship and was hailed as the strongest king. Therefore, the World Alliance decided to hold the second Pokémon World Championship in our Galar region. I remember, the registration channel for contestants has already begun. The registration deadline should be in 2 months. And the contestant level competition will start in a month. Hearing this, Shi Yu nodded, which answered his doubts. The second Pokémon World Championship is about to start. This championship gathers strong people from all over the world, even in the anime, the champions of each region, including the champion of Alola, Xiaozai, will participate. It's an interesting competition. Shi Yu smiled. As for the second Pokémon World Championship, Shi Yu has the idea of participating. I understand. Thank you. Shi Yu bowed slightly to Chibana and prepared to leave. Etc. Kaibana suddenly called out to Shi Yu. What's wrong? Shi Yu turned his head and looked at Chibana. But he saw Chibana running over and said, Shi Yu, will you participate in the Pokémon World Championship? My current initial ranking in the Pokémon World Championship is 8th. I look forward to your participation in this competition and challenging me. At that time, I will use my strongest dragon army to defeat you. Hearing Chibana's somewhat middle school-like speech, Shi Yu suddenly thought of a person in his mind. The Dodo guy always said that he was the strongest dragon army. I don't know which of you two is the real owner of the Fukuyo Spar? I'll think about it. After saying that, Shi Yu called Mei Yi and left the Chuanguan gym together. Shi Yu, are you going to participate in the Pokémon World Championship? Mei knew about this competition. Or rather, everyone in the world knew about this competition. The venue of the last Pokémon World Championship was a reincarnation system. There is a large Pokémon World Championship venue on the south side of Hifumi City in the Unova region. Last year, the Pokémon School in Hifumi City even organized a unified viewing for the entire school. At that time, Mei, who was sitting in the audience, had an idea. That was, one day, she will stand on the highest stage of the Pokémon World Championship, defeat the champion Dante, and become a true Pokémon master. The strongest king in the world. Not necessarily. I am a little interested in this competition, there are opponents who want to fight. It doesn't matter whether they participate or not. After thinking about it, he suddenly smiled and said, maybe, this is also a good opportunity to promote the ranch. Maybe then, my ranch will become a hit and become a ranch known to everyone in the world. Compared to the title of the world's strongest king, Shi Yu cares more about his own ranch. The opponent that Shi Yu wanted to fight and defeat was undoubtedly the Alola champion who would win the championship, Zhao Wang's, in the second Pokémon World Championship in the future, Shadoxi. Let's eat first. Shi Yu didn't give Mei a chance to ask more questions. He took her to taste the food of Chuanguan City. It must be admitted that the development of Chuanguan City is top-notch in the entire Galar region. The food in Hulang City is also far better than that in Hulang Town. Even Shi Yu was still not satisfied with this meal. It would be great if the ranch could hire a cook. Shi Yu scratched his head, secretly feeling a little pity. There is currently no cook who can cook delicious food on the ranch. Shi Yu can only cook for him every day. Shi Yu, where are we going next? Back to your ranch? Mei asked. No, let's go to the wilderness outside of Jiking City. I have a Pokémon I want to capture. Conquer the Pokémons? Great, I also want to conquer the Pokémons in the Galar region. Mei's face is full of expectations. Chapter 95. Jiking City. It's not far from Chuanguan City to Jiking City, but it took a long time. Unlike the high-tech civilization of Chuanguan City, Jiking City is a completely heavy industrialized city. After exiting the subway station of Jiking City, Shi Yu took Mei to the south of Jiking City. Shi Yu, what kind of Pokémon do you want to capture? Mei asked in confusion. Messenger bird, you should know this kind of spirit, right? Shi Yu glanced at Mei Yi. But he saw something strange in Mei Yi's eyes. Messenger bird? Why do you want to capture this Pokémon? It can't evolve and looks average, you don't really believe that it will give you a Christmas present like Santa Claus, do you? Mei said half-jokingly. Shi Yu curled his lips and said, what the hell is giving me a Christmas present? Of course it's not because of such superficial reasons, my ranch needs a freight team, which can increase the income of my ranch. Oh. Mei didn't know much about the operation of the ranch, and her face was full of questions. Forget it. I'll explain these things to you after I get to the ranch. Please help me find where the messenger bird is here first. Shi Yu began to look for it after arriving in the wilderness. There are many trainers here, and there are also a large number of wild Pokémon. The Alliance allows trainers to capture wild Pokémon here. However, the Alliance has a Pokémon law. You can capture Pokémon, but you are responsible for nurturing them. You cannot release them privately. Especially those Pokémon that live with their species. If you are found out that you captured a Pokémon from your species and then released it somewhere else, you will probably spend the rest of your life in jail. The Alliance will never tolerate such bad behavior. To put it bluntly, the Alliance is to put an end to Shinji's behavior. Wow! I saw a species unique to the Galar region, that Pokémon, I think it's called young Mian Mian. Mei's rash voice sounded from Shi Yu's ears. Shi Yu couldn't help but rolled his eyes at her. Seeing Mei had already run out to find the young Mian Mian. Really, what an unreliable guy. Shi Yu complained. Suddenly, he seemed to think of something. Young cotton? Evolution is white fluffy, if the cotton produced by Bai Peng Peng and the cotton produced by Kapok Ball are mixed together, they can be woven into extremely delicate fabrics. I remember that some of the clothes worn by noble ladies were made of this kind of fabric, which is the raw material used by high-end brand clothes. Thinking of this, Shi Yu looked at the young cotton with burning eyes, as if he saw the wealth of the world. Come out, giant mantis. Hatcha. I'll give you a task, did you see those young cotton balls? Hatcha. The giant mantis glanced in the direction that Shi Yu pointed. It didn't know the spirit of young Mian Mian. But after Shi Yu's explanation, the giant mantis recognized young Mian Mian. Take these Pokeballs and help me defeat and capture some young cotton balls. Hatcha. The giant mantis nodded, indicating that it understood. After the giant mantis acted alone, Shi Yu sent out the giant gold monster. What a clue! Let's go to the other side of the river. I feel there might be messenger birds over there. Shi Yu roughly passed through this area and did not find any messenger birds. Perhaps there might be messenger birds on the banks of the Jiking River. Head. After Yu arrived on the back of the giant golden monster, he rushed towards the Jiking River. There is no messenger bird here either. How is it possible? Is the information wrong? Shi Yu felt that it shouldn't be possible. The Pokémon illustrations in the Galar region basically wouldn't lie. Besides, Shi Yu also knew something about this area. Just at this time, Shi Yu heard thunder. The thunder came from the west and was very loud. In this area, it is often sunny in the east and thunder and lightning in the west. Shi Yu also knew. But, such a loud thunder, wouldn't that be a bit strange? Let's go and have a look. Shi Yu signaled the giant golden monster to fly towards the source of the thunder. Along the way, Shi Yu felt the haze. Obviously, the climate here was changing suddenly. Until the other side of the river, Shi Yu saw the tribes fighting. On one side was the Togodmer tribe. These small and exquisite guys are very popular among girls in various regions. They are considered a kind of electric mouse. Hey? Shi Yu was stunned when he saw those weak Pokémons floating in the air. Dronezia? No way. As a native of Galar, Shi Yu was very sensitive to the quasi-god spirits in his own region, encountering several quasi-god Pokémons at once, and in the wild. This was something Shi Yu had never expected. You know, quasi-god Pokémons are very rare in any region. It is an extremely rare creature. How could there be several of them in the wild at once? Don't even think about it, quasi-god cubs like Duolong Messiah are somewhat special. Shi Yu frowned and said, what's going on? Why is there a Duolong Messiah here? Since there is a Duolong Messiah here, does it mean that there are traces of Duolongki or Duolong Baruto? After all, Duolong Messiah is very weak, so weak that even a child may not be able to beat him. Ungrown Duolong Messiah usually relies on Duolongki's head or becomes a dragon arrow of Duolong Baruto to survive. But, Shi Yu scanned the surroundings, but he didn't find even a single Dolanki or Dolan Messiah. This was very strange. Sizzle. At this moment, Togodmer, who was opposite Doran Messiah, suddenly launched a lightning attack. Seeing this, Shi Yu had to stop it. Megalodon, hold on. Shi Yu asked Metagross to come in front of several Dalmagia and released Hold On. Under the resistance of a light shield, the attack of the Tachdemara was directly invalidated. Suddenly, a total of 3 Tachdemaras seemed very angry and used the cheek rub at the same time. They ran towards Shi Yu and Metagross, trying to use the cheek rub to surprise Shi Yu and Metagross. However, head. The Metagross roared fiercely, and directly repelled the 3 Togodmars, who were only in their teens. The roar of the Metagross was not an attack, but mixed with some mental power. As a psychic spirit, the Metagross's attainments in mental power were not low. Just roaring was enough to tremble the opponent. At the same time, Shi Yu turned around and looked at the 4 Dalmagia behind him. Chapter 96. The 4 Dragon Messiahs were floating in the air. They looked a little cowardly. Even though the opponent they were facing was only a level 10 Togdemar, they did not dare to resist. Perhaps, this is probably because the elders protect us so well. Shi Yu shook his head and said with a smile, you don't have to be so reserved. Now that you are safe, you can relax a little. After hearing Shi Yu's words, the 4 Dragon Messiahs looked at each other and then slowly floated to Shi Yu's side. I don't know why. They felt a strong affinity with Shi Yu. There was a feeling, an inexplicable sense of security. Then, it attached to Shi Yu's head, just like it was attached to Duolongki's head. The weight of the 4 Duolong Mei Xi is not much. Added together, it is less than 15 pounds. Shi Yu can bear this weight. Do you think I'm Duronkai or Duran Baruto? Shi Yu felt a little confused. You are the cubs of quasi-god Pokémons. Are you so unguarded against humans? Aren't you afraid that I will take out 4 Pokeballs and lock you in? When Yu was still thinking, the 3 Togodmars in front of him suddenly curled up and ran away. Seeing this, Shi Yu took out 3 red and white Pokeballs. He accurately hit the 3 Togodmars and put them into the balls. The Pokeballs shook violently, but unfortunately, the 3 Togodmars did not break free from the shackles of the Pokeballs. The ranch needs a generator. The 2 electric sound babies have evolved into trembling salamanders. You 3 can fill their positions. Shi Yu smiled and put the 3 Pokeballs into his pocket. Then, he looked up at the 4 dragon messiahs with their heads exposed and asked, "Why are you 4 little guys here?" Shi Yu was very confused. Normally, the habitat of Dragon Messiah is in the Reverse Scale Lake or the Ancient Cemetery in the south, right? And the Ancient Cemetery is actually on the Crown Snowfield. This is even more strange. Coming from the Crown Snowfield, unless you take a train, otherwise, the only way is to cross the mountain in the south of Hulang Town. It is not the Rocky Mountain that Shi Yu conquered, but the mountain range in the south that towers into the sky. In the Pokémon world, this mountain range is known as the highest mountain in the world. It is comparable to Mount Everest in Shi Yu's previous life. It is impossible to cross this mountain range. The N'Lin Lake was a lake that was sealed off by the Alliance. Outsiders could not enter at will, and the spirits inside could not leave at will. It was impossible for Dalmaxia to leave the N'Lin Lake. Shi Yu was doubtful. He reached out and touched the body of one of the Dalmaxia, but found that it was a ghost. It is indeed a ghost dragon. However, Shi Yu still managed to glimpse the mood of this dragon messiah. 3 days ago, 4 dragon messiahs living in the body of Dragon Barudo followed Dragon Barudo to the wilderness of Jiking City. Here, they had a great battle with an extremely powerful Pokémon. After the battle, Dragon Barudo was severely injured, and so was the Pokémon. At this time, a human appeared and put both Pokémons into the Pokémon Ball. He successfully subdued them. And the 4 Dolanmesia were shot out by Dolan Barudo in the form of dragon arrows. They fell into the water. The man seemed to be in a hurry and did not enter the water to look for the 4 Dolanmesia, and left directly. For 3 days, the 4 Dolanmesia seemed to be in a mess and wandered here for a long time. They encountered many wild Pokémons. But out of fear, they did not dare to approach these wild Pokémons. Today, the 4 Pokémons were so hungry that they wanted to absorb some souls as nutrients. They encountered 3 Togodmar who were taking a nap. But as soon as they absorbed the souls of the 3 Togodmars, they were attacked directly. Then, the strange human in front of them came and saved them. After reading Dolanmesia's inner drama, Shi Yu was slightly stunned. The battle between the 2 Pokémons, both sides suffered losses, but a human took advantage of the situation? That person left before he could find the 4 dragons in the water. This person is not clean. Otherwise, why are they in such a hurry? Everyone knows the value of the 4 dragon-type quasi-god Pokémon cubs. Even the children in the Pokémon kindergarten in Hulang Town know it. It can fight on par with Duran Barudo. That means that Pokémon is also very strong. You know, Duran Barudo can only evolve when Durankai is level 60. It is conceivable how high the level of that Pokémon is. Shi Yu stroked his chin, speculating on the strength of that Pokémon. And who is that human? Obscure. At this moment, the 4 dragon messiahs on Shi Yu's head floated out and appeared in front of Shi Yu. Their stomachs were growling, as if they were starving. You are hungry, aren't you? Obscure. The 4 dragon messiahs nodded in unison. Shi Yu quickly took out the prepared Pokémon food from the system space. Some glutinous mushrooms. Even though it was a ghost dragon, Dragon Messiah was a dragon-type Pokémon. Dragon-type Pokémon all loved to eat glutinous mushrooms. After seeing such delicious glutinous mushrooms, the 4 little guys started to enjoy the food like greedy children. After a hearty meal, the 4 dragon messiahs seemed tired and wanted to take a nap. They all scrambled to float to Shi Yu's head and lay there ready to sleep. Shi Yu had no idea what to do with these 4 little guys. He had no choice but to say, "It's not a good idea for you 4 little guys to always sleep on my head. I can give you a better resting environment, are you willing?" Obscure. The 4 dragon messiahs all poked their heads out and looked at Shi Yu. They seemed to be asking Shi Yu where to go. Shi Yu took out 4 luxurious balls and said, "You guys can enter this ball for the time being, so that you can sleep more peacefully. When the time comes, I will take you to a paradise, where you can take a nap and play as much as you want. There are also endless glutinous mushrooms to eat and a lot of Pokémon companions." Obscure. The 4 dragon messiahs were all inexperienced and didn't know much about human tricks. The 4 dragon messiahs each chose a luxurious ball and came over to hit it. With a whoosh, the 4 dragon messiahs were all collected into the ball. The 4 luxurious balls barely moved, indicating that they were successfully captured. This also, isn't it too easy? Shi Yu was a little overjoyed. Relying on the tactic of talking, he subdued 4 dragon-type quasi-god cubs. Chapter 97. Holding the 4 luxurious balls in his hands. Shi Yu still couldn't believe it. Even though Hulang Messiah was known as the weakest among the quasi-god cubs, it is not easy to subdue them. But he picked up 4 dragon messiahs. If they all evolve. Shi Yu imagined his own ranch, with 4 dragon balls in charge. It was so cool. Even if it was known as the best ranch in Galar, it should not be a problem. After all, not every ranch could afford to raise a quasi-god Pokémon. Or 5. Metagross, it's time for us to go. After Shi Yu collected the 4 luxury balls, he jumped onto the back of the Metagross. Look for the whereabouts of the messenger bird. As soon as Shi Yu finished speaking, he saw a red and white bird flying across the sky, similar to a carrier pigeon 910. It flapped its red wings and flew leisurely. Shi Yu saw it. He recognized it as a messenger bird at a glance. Metagross, don't alert the enemy, let's follow it slowly and see where its hideout is. It's a pity. The giant gold monster flew quietly in the air. The flying speed of the messenger bird was not too fast, but it was orderly. Soon, Shi Yu saw the messenger bird slowly landing near a relatively cold rocky mountain in the wilderness. As an ice Pokémon, the messenger bird likes to live in cold ice caves. When the messenger bird landed, Shi Yu saw another messenger bird coming out of the cave. Not long after, another messenger bird came out. Seeing this scene, Shi Yu knew that he had found the hiding cave of the messenger bird. This is the nest of the messenger bird tribe. Shi Yu grinned. Without any hesitation, he let the giant gold monster quickly land. Berry. The messenger bird that just came out of the cave seemed to have noticed the approach of Shi Yu and Metagross. With a shout, it became cautious. The messenger bird that just landed realized that it seemed to have brought someone back to its residence that it shouldn't have brought. Suddenly, many more messenger birds came out of the cave. The last messenger bird that came out was slightly larger in size, and its tail was the largest among all the messenger birds. According to Shi Yu's understanding of the messenger bird clan, the messenger bird with the largest tail is the clan leader of this clan. Shi Yu checked the information of the messenger bird clan leader on the data panel. Messenger bird chief. Level, 1v40. Potential, gym level. A level 40 messenger bird? The level is not low. Shi Yu murmured. Although this is the case, the racial value of the messenger bird clan is indeed not high. There is no evolution chain, super giantization, mega evolution, and exclusive Z moves. This makes the messenger bird clan, in the eyes of ordinary people, not considered as a Pokémon to be captured. Messenger birds, don't be so hostile to me. After Shi Yu fell from the giant gold monster, he slowly walked forward a few steps. Several messenger birds looked at Shi Yu with hostility, as if they were facing a great enemy. Shi Yu said calmly, I want to discuss a deal with you. Don't worry, you won't suffer any loss. The leader of the messenger bird tribe also walked forward a few steps. The height of ordinary messenger birds is between 0.9 meters and 1 meter. The messenger bird tribe leader in front of him is quite tall. It is about 1.23 meters tall. It blinked and stared at Shi Yu, as if asking Shi Yu, what can I do for you? Messenger bird, I'm a rancher, I have a lot of crops on my ranch that I need to sell to some partners, but I lack a transportation team. After thinking hard for a long time, I still think that you, the messenger birds, are the most suitable Pokémons for transportation work. So I came to visit you because I want to discuss this cooperation with you. Speaking of this, Shi Yu could clearly feel that the look in the eyes of the messenger bird chief in front of him had changed slightly. The hostility of the messenger bird clan towards Shi Yu seemed to have weakened a little. What I can provide you is a place where you can live comfortably. I am planning to build an ice cave park on my farm. As an ice-type Pokémon, you, the messenger bird, must also like this kind of place, right? Very. The messenger bird leader's eyes were distracted. It was obvious that he was daydreaming about the ice cave place mentioned by Shi Yu. To be honest, the cave they were living in was originally just a cave. The reason why it was frozen was entirely due to their own efforts. The messenger bird tribe froze the entire stone cave and also needed to output ice energy into it from time to time. Otherwise, the ice will melt. And this wilderness is not very suitable for ice Pokémons to live in. The main reason is that the weather is too changeable. Thunder and lightning, haze, sunny days, make them feel miserable. How about that? On my ranch, I can create an area where it snows all the time. Then you can live in the ice and snow. My only request to you is to help me deliver one shipment of goods every month. I will equip each of your messenger birds with a space bag, which can hold far more items than you can carry on your own. After hearing what Shi Yu said, not to mention the leader of the messenger birds, even the messenger birds behind him were tempted. Equipped with a space bag? Although I don't know what that is. But the messenger bird's tail can actually hold a limited amount of things. Why is the leader of the messenger birds the one with the biggest tail? Because it can hold a lot of things. In the eyes of the messenger bird clan, the more things that can be placed, the more awesome they are. Messenger bird, will you consider it? Shi Yu showed a kind smile. First courtesy, then force. If you can win it over with words, that would be great. Otherwise, just give Metagross some experience points, and then tame it. However, it is different from the game. In the game, as long as you get enough badges to tame a Pokémon, even the wild Pokémon you just tame will treat you like a father. In reality, 0.9. You beat them up and tame them against their will. Why should they listen to you? This is the essential difference between Chaotuxi and Guhao. One tame Pokémon by loving them. This is the normal tame process. The other dog, let's not talk about it. Bad luck. The messenger bird chief looked at Shi Yu for a long time without responding. After a moment, he looked at his own people. There were 11 messenger birds in total. Shi Yu had counted them. After a brief meeting of the 11 messenger birds, the messenger bird chief turned around and looked at Shi Yu. His eyes narrowed slightly, as if he wanted to express something to Shi Yu. Shi Yu put his hand on the messenger bird chief's shoulder. He felt what the messenger bird chief was thinking. Chapter 98. We can go to your ranch and become your transporters. But there are two requirements. One is to provide food and accommodation. The second is that our freedom cannot be restricted. If we want to leave one day, we must be allowed to leave. After feeling what the messenger bird chief was thinking, Shi Yu smiled and said, of course, there is no problem with that. In Shi Yu's opinion, this is not a big deal. When they arrive at their own ranch, will they still want to leave? Impossible. Every Pokémon who comes to the ranch has no regrets. This is simply a Pokémon paradise. What's more, Shi Yu's botanical garden is almost completed. By then build places for the Pokémons of other attributes to live. Build places suitable for the Pokémons of the 18 attributes to live. Who wants to leave? Don't wait until the time comes, or you can't drive them away. Very. The messenger bird chief said that since Shi Yu agreed to these two requirements, they were willing to join Shi Yu's ranch. Seeing this, Shi Yu took out 11 red and white sperm balls. I need to put you into the ball first and then take you to my ranch, okay? Very. The chief of the messenger birds nodded, indicating that it was feasible. 26 Suddenly, Shi Yu threw 11 messenger birds in a row and put them all into the ball. The red and white pokeball barely shook, indicating that the pokeball had been successfully captured. Hey! Shi Yu sighed. The most important task of this trip has been completed. Shi Yu was very satisfied. The ranch's transport team had been subdued. The next step was to buy 11 space bags. This was a considerable sum. Fortunately, Violet and Olive had paid Shi Yu a fee before. So Shi Yu could spend it. Oh, I wonder what happened to Mei. Thinking of this, Shi Yu searched for Mei in the wilderness. But he found, this girl is actually being chased? Shi Yu. Help! Beside Mei, two Pokémons, Snake and Mimosa, ran faster than Mei. Behind them, there was a Farfetch'd holding a scallion, chasing them madly. After seeing this Farfetch'd, Shi Yu recognized it at a glance. It was the Farfetch'd from the Galar region. It ran very fast, as if it wanted to duel with Mei and the other two Pokémons. Shi Yu saw this and took the initiative to meet it. Mei saw Shi Yu and quickly hid behind him. Snake and Mimosa hid behind Metagross, as if they had found the protection of a big brother. Mei, what's going on? I don't know either. Mei said breathlessly. I was originally there to capture Pokémons, but a strange Farfetch'd came out of the grass and showed up as if it wanted to duel with me. I said I didn't want to fight, but it forced a duel. Nereid and Mimosa were no match for it, so we had no choice but to run away. When Mei said this, Shi Yu saw a red figure passing by in the distance. It was the giant claw mantis. In its hand, there were 10 red and white pokeballs. The giant claw mantis handed the pokeball to Shi Yu. Hacha! Have you captured all of them? Shi Yu asked. Hacha! Mantis nodded, indicating that there were Pokémon inside. Shi Yu took the opportunity to glance at the pokeball. 10 young cotton balls were hiding peacefully in the pokeball. Thinking back, the way Mantis had subdued them before was very violent. Ka-po! The Galar-formed Farfetch'd had already run to Shi Yu's front. It raised the onion in its hand and pointed at the giant mantis next to Shi Yu. Then it glanced at the Metagross. It seemed to be selecting an opponent to challenge. Shi Yu looked at the Farfetch'd and took a quick look at its level and potential. Farfetch'd, Galar form. Level, 1v36. Potential, Gym level. Oh! It's rare to encounter a Farfetch'd with gym level potential in the wild. Shi Yu said with emotion. Although the messenger bird chief just now also has gym level potential. But the messenger bird is a Pokémon that few people have captured after all. Besides, it is a chief, so it is normal that its potential is higher. And Farfetch'd in other regions, many are food-type Pokémon that are eaten as emergency food. This leads to their scarcity. See the illustrations for details, the Pokémon world really describes it this way. Farfetch'd in the Galar region is full of fighting spirit and has a samurai spirit. And it can also evolve into Farfetch'd. Therefore, it is chosen by many novice trainers as one of the Pokémon to capture. As a result, the Galar form Farfetch'd in the wild is rare. And now, there is a Farfetch'd with gym level potential in front of him. This makes Shi Yu have to look at this Farfetch'd. Ka-po! While Shi Yu was looking at Galar Farfetch'd seemed to be looking at Shi Yu, Mantis, and Metagross as well. Then, it pointed the Farfetch'd in its hand at Metagross, seemingly wanting to challenge Metagross. What? The Metagross glanced at Shi Yu, as if asking for his opinion. As the strongest Pokémon in Shi Yu's ranch, the Metagross felt that his dignity should not be underestimated. If a Pokémon wanted to challenge him, he should accept it. Just give him a little lesson, don't be too hard. Shi Yu's meaning was very clear. To deal with such an arrogant guy, just beat him up, but don't beat him too hard. Otherwise, I'm afraid it will become the food in the pot. 10 seconds later. Galar Farfetch'd was lying on the ground, shivering all over. You can imagine how reckless Metagross was. Ha! I asked you to chase me, now you're done for, right? You got beaten down? You deserve it. Loyalu. Mei saw Galar Farfetch'd fall down, and couldn't help but step forward to mock it. She was being chased for a long time just now. Mei, if you can't beat them, then don't beat them. It's a bit too much to be unreasonable. Shi Yu hurried forward to stop Mei's unreasonable behavior. No. It has no moral integrity. Mei was still insulting Farfetch'd. Shi Yu ignored her and squatted down, stroking Farfetch'd's head. A gentle healing force flowed into Farfetch'd's body, healing the injury it had just suffered. Is everything okay? Shi Yu asked the onion duck that had just woken up. Ka-po! Galar Farfetch'd touched his injured body and found that he was actually healed. For a moment, Galar Farfetch'd was a little bit unbelievable. Kabu! Galar Farfetch'd seemed to be asking Shi Yu if he was the one who healed him? Yet. Shi Yu nodded and said with a smile, I admire you very much. How about it? Do you want to come with me? Chapter 99. Kabu. Galar Farfetch'd hesitated for a moment, glanced at Metagross, and then fixed his gaze on Mantis. He stretched out the onion in his hand and pointed it at Mantis. Crack! Flatty! Duck challenges giant claw mantis. Under Shi Yu and Mei's stunned gaze, Galar Farfetch'd, once again, he was beaten to the ground. This time, he lost to the giant mantis. You guy, you really deserve a fight. Shi Yu's mouth twitched. However, he was infected by its Bushido spirit. It is worthy of being the onion duck that evolved into the onion ranger. Loving to fight is a good thing. The Galar form of onion duck grew up through repeated battles and tempering. When it grows to be able to hit multiple flaws, hit the vital point 3 times, it can evolve into the onion ranger. However, look at this onion duck. As high as level 36, but still not evolved. Shi Yu knew that this guy probably hasn't mastered the essence of hitting the vital point. How about it? Onion duck, do you want to go back with me? Kabu. The onion duck raised his eyes and stared at Shi Yu strangely. It seemed to be asking, why? Far-fetched, you seem to like challenging others so much, so you must be honing your swordsmanship, right? As the Galar region's unique Farfetch'd form, I know you are very belligerent and good at fighting. However, if you want to become stronger and evolve into a green onion soldier, you need to keep hitting the vital points. This should be a bit difficult for you, right? When Shi Yu said this, the onion duck nodded. Obviously agreeing with Shi Yu's words. If it is simple, it has long evolved into an onion soldier. So, you still can't hit the opponent's vital points freely and controllably. Shi Yu stared at the far-fetched and asked. Ka-po. The far-fetched duck felt a little aggrieved. It had tried very hard, but still couldn't do this. Come back to the ranch with me. There, you will have your ranch mates to train with you. I believe that one day you will master this skill, becoming the strongest Pokémon swordsman. Shi Yu sincerely invited Onion Duck. Onion Duck stared at Shi Yu for a moment. He did not accept Shi Yu's treatment or support. Instead, he stood up on his own initiative. Ka-po. The Onion Duck held up the onion in his hand, as if to say, Rancher, from now on, I won't lose again. Well. Seeing this scene. For some reason, Shi Yu had a sense of déjà vu. Ha ha ha. Welcome to join our big family, Onion Duck. Shi Yu stretched out his hand and shook hands with Onion Duck. The next moment, Onion Duck fell to the ground, his eyes turned white, and he lost his ability to fight. This guy is really good at showing off his strength. Shi Yu shook his head helplessly, squatted down, and stroked the belly of the Onion Duck with his hand to treat it. Under the healing power of Changpan, the Onion Duck gradually regained consciousness. Then, Shi Yu took out a luxury ball. The Onion Duck took the initiative to touch the luxury ball with the onion in his hand and entered the ball. Hey! This trip to the Jiking River is really fruitful. Shi Yu murmured. Originally, he only wanted to subdue Shala's messenger bird. But who would have thought that there would be so many unexpected surprises? Of course, the most unexpected one must be the 4 dragon messiahs. After Shi Yu put away the pokeball of far-fetched, he turned around and looked at Mei behind him. Mei, have you captured any Pokémon? Ah! I have conquered him. Mei said with a mysterious look. Ding 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 ding. Mei took out a pink healing ball. She spun it in her hand and asked Shi Yu, can you guess what kind of Pokémon this is? Is there any need to guess? There are only a few types of Pokémons on the Jiking River. How did you know? You were not secretly observing me just now, were you? Mei looked at Shi Yu in shock. Shi Yu said calmly, look, there are still a lot of horseflies over there, didn't you run from that direction just now? Shi Yu pointed at the group of horseflies and turned Mei's head away. After Mei saw it, she said stubbornly, you are cheating. How about you capture another one? Let me guess again. Okay. Mei said seriously. Shi Yu said, what the hell, let's go home. The Pokémons in the ranch are still waiting for dinner. Shi Yu said, and consciously took Mei's soft little hand and walked towards the mechanical city. In fact, if we start from here, we can ride the Metagross home. But that would be too ostentatious. In addition, Mei is here. The back of the Metagross is very solid, but if 2 people sit on it at the same time, it will be unstable. Shi Yu is really afraid that Mei will fall and die. Back to Jiking City. The 2 took the nearest subway and returned to Hulang Town. Come on, giant gold monster. In Hulang Town, it's no problem to ride on the giant gold monster. Fly from Hulang Town to the small mountain range east of Hulang Town, that is Shi Yu's ranch. It won't take much time. Under the flying of the giant gold monster, the 2 of them soon returned to the ranch. Ouch! The one on guard during the day was the Daemon werewolf. When it saw Shi Yu coming back, it came over to greet him. As for the other stranger on the back of the giant gold monster, Daemon kept a certain distance, as if he was on guard. She is my friend, Daemon, you can relax. Aloha. The Daemon werewolf nodded and went back to do his own thing. Wow! That Pokémon just now was a werewolf, right? Mei said excitedly. Hey? Yeah, it is the daytime form of the werewolf. In my ranch, there are also the dusk form of the werewolf and the night form of the werewolf. However, at this time, they should all still be sleeping. Shi Yu looked at the time. It was a little after 1 p.m. Before leaving, Shi Yu had told the Pokémons on the ranch that the food was in the cabin. I think the bear will also help feed them. At this time, they are probably all taking a nap. Mei jumped off the back of Metagross and jumped around to visit Shi Yu's ranch. When she saw each Pokémon, she would make a wow sound. As a result, many Pokémons were woken up by Mei, the annoying guy, during their naps. Mei, don't disturb their sleep, some Pokémons will be irritable when they wake up. Ah! Mei exclaimed. Shi Yu saw that Circle Bear woke up with an angry face. Shi Yu hurriedly said it is one of the Pokémons who has a bad temper when waking up. Circle Bear. Chapter 100. Be good, Circle Bear. My friend has just arrived at the ranch and is a little immature. I hope you can understand. Shi Yu walked over and stroked the circle pattern on Circle Bear's belly. This is the softest part of its body, and only people who trust it can stroke it. When Shi Yu stroked its belly, Circle Bear also felt a gentle force. Guma. Circle Bear turned away and lay down to continue to caress his child to sleep. Seeing this, Shi Yu breathed a sigh of relief. Circle Bear's temper has always been bad. If it hadn't been tamed by Shi Yu, he would still be the kind of Pokémon that is furious and doesn't care about anyone. Wow, fierce and scary. After seeing the bear lying down, Mei loosened her grip on Shi Yu's arm. Her expression became a classic expression. She looked like she was crying. It was obvious that she was really scared. Well, as long as you don't provoke it or bully its children, it won't attack you. Shi Yu comforted Mei Yi. Definitely. Mei secretly made up her mind in her heart that she would stay away from the Circle Bear clan from now on. By the way, Mei, how long do you plan to stay in the Galar region this time? Shi Yu asked. How long? Let me think about it. Mei thought for a while and replied, I don't know either. Before I figured it out, I surrendered to you, Shi Yu. Shi Yu was speechless after hearing Mei's shameless words. I don't have any room for you to sleep in here. Then why don't you give me the room where you sleep? Shi Yu was speechless. This is a female hooligan, a female robber. An hour later, Shi Yu vacated a room on the second floor of the cabin for Mei. In fact, the second floor of the cabin is about the size of 3 rooms. However, Shi Yu usually sleeps on the balcony. He is too lazy to use those 3 rooms. They have almost become storage rooms in Shi Yu's ranch. Now, one room is for Mei to live in, and the other 2 storage rooms have naturally become more crowded. Mei, you can live in my ranch, but we have to make it clear in advance. What? Seeing Shi Yu's serious expression, Mei Yi was a little confused. First, no matter what incredible things you see on the ranch, you must not tell others about it. Second, you can stay in my ranch with food and lodging provided, but you must help me take care of the Pokémons in the ranch. This includes feeding them, bathing them, playing with them, and fighting with them, etc. Third, you are not allowed to bring your friends to my ranch without my permission. Fourth. Shi Yu listed all the rules until the 10th one, then he stopped talking. In Shi Yu's opinion, these were all basic principles. As a member of the ranch, it was necessary to do his part for the ranch. I should be able to do it, is it the sparring match? Mei thought for a moment and said, I feel like they are all stronger than me, how can I practice with you in battle? This is easy to do. You just need to build good relationships with the Pokémons in the ranch, and then they will listen to you and fight the Pokémons you want to fight. Shi Yu said seriously. Originally, this was his job. But since Mei is here, this matter can be completely handed over to Mei. This, okay. Mei nodded, indicating that she understood. Well, in that case, let's go clean up the shit first. I'd like you to clean up the hut of the sheep with braids over there. Shi Yu pointed at the stinky hut of the sheep with braids outside. Originally, this was Xiao's job. Xiao went to school. So I can only ask Mei to do it. Yes. After all, Mei is new to the ranch, and she is full of curiosity about everything she does. Even when she goes to shovel shit, she always has a smile on her face. Shi Yu looked at Mei's back. He came alone to the south side of the ranch, which is the botanical garden near the dozing forest. Shi Yu asked the Ironbone Earthman to build the botanical garden. However, if it is just one Pokémon, it will be very slow. Shi Yu asked two Scythers to come and help the Ironbone workers in their spare time. In addition, Lottie Kappa, Thrilling Salamander, and Circle Bear often come to help. This makes the botanical garden look very good and it will be built soon. Ironbone native, you have worked so hard. Mast. The Ironbone Earthman shook his hand, indicating that it was all right. Suddenly, Shi Yu took out 4 Pokeballs and released all 4 Dragon Messiahs. Obscure. Doran Messiah, you guys should live in the botanical garden for now. I will build a place for you to live in one day. Obscure. The 4 dragons nodded and entered the botanical garden, which was the dozing forest area. Then, Shi Yu came to the east of the ranch. Across the stream, there was an open space on the other side. Before, the giant gold monster was always practicing skills there. Now, Shi Yu was going to develop this open space. Floating Bubble, please come over here. Shi Yu shouted at Floating Bubble. The floating bubble in the orchard soon floated over. Oh wow! The floating bubble seemed to be asking Shi Yu for instructions. Floating bubbles, please use snowfall to bring a university to that area. Oh wow! After a period of special training, the floating bubble was finally able to change the weather within a specific area. As the floating bubble snowed, the open space was covered with snowflakes of various shapes. Come out, Mean Xiao. Shi Yu released Mean Xiao again. It naturally swam into the stream, which was its home. When it saw the snow on the other side, Mean Xiao showed a puzzled expression. Melodic, please use your ice beam to change the terrain of that area so that it becomes a suitable place for the messenger birds to live. Melo. Mean Xiao said it was simple. A blue-white freezing beam froze the area directly. Along with the snowflakes, ice sculptures gradually appeared. Messenger birds, come out. After this step, Shi Yu released all 11 messenger birds. Very. How about this, messenger bird, this is my ranch, the ranch should have the glutinous mushrooms you like to eat. In addition, this place is the residence I prepared for you. It can be covered with ice and snow all year round. Very. After seeing the snowy ice field in front of them, the 11 messenger birds could not wait to fly over. It was obvious that they all liked this piece of ice and snow. Bailey. The chief of the messenger bird tribe nodded slightly towards Shi Yu, as if to thank Shi Yu for fulfilling his promise. Space bag, you have to wait before buying it. Shi Yu said bluntly. You have to see where to buy it cheaper, otherwise the price difference may be huge. The 11 messenger birds said it was okay.